and the ball was on the fly, and the man was on the out.
No, I doubt if he had a fly pattern on, because Casper was running a corner, and that would have put the two of them up on the same sideline. Casper did not do a lot of work this week with a sore ankle, and he may be a step slower than Dan had anticipated. And what he did was just overthrow everybody to be sure we're not going to get an interception.
Eagles come with a nickel defense now on 3rd and 5 as Bradshaw comes to the near side and Branch to the far side. Dan Pastorini, the quarterback. We'll see a lot of him tonight. Right back to pass with time, and now in trouble, wrapped up that time. Now let's see, the officials, I believe, were saying the play was dead, and they are.
Under the rules that we put in last year in the National Football League for quarterback safety, when the quarterback is in the grasp of a defensive man, they blow the whistle.
Credit the sack to Dennis Harrison, third-year man out of Vanderbilt.
We'll see it here. Protection is good initially. Coverage is good. Dan has to wait, and then Art Shell got kind of overpowered. That was the man that grabbed Pastorini, and the whistle must have blown there, killing the play. When you've got a quarterback with some mobility, like we do this year, you kind of frown on that rule. It was different with Ken Stabler, who wasn't going to get away.
So Pastorini is going to do the punting.
Right, Ray Guy still got a little sore back, and Tom Flores decided to rest him, go with Dan Pastorini.
Low snap, but the Eagles did not have a rush on, and John Sheriff fields this one at the 40-yard line. Comes back to 35, a little bit of a hole to about the 48-yard line. So Sheriff had a little bit of room that time. Mike Davis dragged him down. Davis been very active early in this ball game, and the Eagles once more will have it in good field position. So Philadelphia has drawn first blood. Now the Raiders on a bad snap from center and a rather short kick have it in field goal in position again at midfield, and we'll be back after this. This program is authorized under rights granted by the Oakland Raiders solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this event, including the imposition of a charge for viewing this program without the express consent of the Oakland Raiders, is strictly prohibited. The announcers for this program have been selected and hired by Telepros. First down, Eagles. Ball just short of midfield. This is Wilbert Montgomery. Gets a step across midfield to the 46-yard line. Bob Nelson in the middle for the Raiders makes the stop.
You notice Nelson is wearing number 51, and he spent most of the preseason in 99. But NFL rules are, once the 50s open up, which were all those numbers were taken earlier, linebackers have to go into the 50s unless they're a veteran who's been wearing another number for a number of years. So we had to shift Bob from 99 to 51.
Gain of 5 yards for Wilbert Montgomery in the I formation now with Carmichael to the near side and Pritzky to the far side. Ron Jaworski's the quarterback. They run out of a lot of formations. A little bit of a counterplay to Montgomery. Gets to 45, tries to get outside, slips one man, gets to about the 43-yard line. Lester Hayes makes the stop.
That's a good matchup of two outstanding people at their position. And Montgomery was a 1,500-yard ground gainer last year and really one of the top backs. The Eagles are a team without big backs. They don't have a 225, 230-pound fullback. They've got halfback-sized backs playing both positions.
Wilbert Montgomery, outstanding running back. Picked up in the preseason right where he left off a year ago. 10 rushes for 75 yards. That's a 7.5-yard average in the 3 preseason games of the Eagles. Third down 3 now for Ron Jaworski. And this is play action. Keeps the ball on his hip very well. Fly this time for Montgomery. Can't hang on to the 25. Jeff Barnes defending. Montgomery probably should have caught that ball.
Let's take a look at this one from a couple different angles. Here from behind the quarterback. Good fake. You see the trap. It looked like a run. He hit the ball well. Gave his back a half a step jump on the linebacker. One he should have came down with.
Max Runiger comes on to do the punting now as once more the Raider defense hard.
See it here again. Now looking at it as the receiver will. He just lost the handle on the football. Great fake, made it really tough on the linebacker who has to respect the run threat.
So Runiger comes on to do the punting. The Raiders show a 10-man front. Now it's a fake, and the pass is good out here. And it's going to be a first down Eagles. The pass complete to linebacker Frank Lemaster, and it's going to be a first down at the 27-yard line, and that caught the Raiders flat-footed.
Those are the kind of things, if they're going to happen, this is when you want them to happen. It's good education. They know that we try to rush from the outside with Lester Hayes. He's blocked a couple of punts, so this is one way of alleviating the pressure on their punter. you do have people assigned to cover that. There was a breakdown defensively, and it's good to get it in the preseason, get it corrected before we start playing games that count.
Gain of 18 yards on that 4th down fake punt. And the Eagles now have it at the 29. This is Pritzky to the near side. Carmichael the far side. Raiders in a blitz. Picked up. Jaworski goes deep for Carmichael. Can't hang on at the 4-yard line. Carmichael might have had a step on Lester Hayes that time, but the ball was thrown just a little bit wide.
He's got time. Now there's a push from the outside by 51 Nelson and the dog. Ball is a little wide, but that's one Carmichael should come down with. We're talking about one of the great ends in the league. He's caught a pass in 112 consecutive games, and you pay him to catch those. Probably the toughest guy in the whole league to cover physically. He's 6'8", 225 with the speed to play outside receiver.
Charlie Smith in the ballgame now at wide receiver for the Eagles, replacing Carmichael. Pritzky to the far side. It is 2nd down and 10. The ball at the 28. Jaworski straight back to pass. Whistle's blown. We're going to get a delay of game, I believe.
No, they had 5 seconds left on the clock. This call has to be something else. And the flag was thrown by the official on the side.
Illegal formation. I think what happened that time is Pritzky started off the line of scrimmage and took a step up on the line of scrimmage, and I think they had too many men on the line of scrimmage.
Well, you can have too many, but what he does is he makes, if he steps up and has the tight end inside of him, he now makes a tight end to tackle, and he's wearing an eligible number and can't do it at a tackle position.
Good mention, interesting thing that we do have for you tonight is Dick Vermeil, the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, is mic'd with a radio microphone, so we'll be hearing his comments along the sidelines from time to time. Very vociferous sort. Two very different coaches, not so much in theory or attitude, but rather in personality. Tom Flores, of course, very quiet on the sidelines. Dick Vermeil, very active. Slot formation now with Carmichael in the slot. Jaworski will throw. Throws it out here for Harrington. Makes the grab at the 28. Wrapped up immediately. Ball pops loose. And let's see what they call it. An incomplete pass is what they call it. So Mike Davis giving Perry Harrington a good wrap that time, and that's what you're supposed to do when you play strong safety.
Straight drop back for Jaworski, 2nd and 15, and they know you're going to throw. Little rush by Hendricks in there. Just a good hit. Never let him pull the ball down, and when he went to the ground, the ball came out.
Eagles now come with Billy Canfield on his 3rd and 15 situation at a running back spot. It's Montgomery and Canfield, the running backs, behind Jaworski. To the near side, Scott Pritzky. To the far side, Carmichael. 3rd and 15 for the Eagles. Straight back to pass. Jaworski has time again. Throws back over the middle, and once more, unable to hang on is Billy Canfield. So you can't fault Jaworski for what has befallen the Philadelphia Eagles so far. He has hit 3 or 4 of his teammates right in the hands.
Again, Jaworski gets time. He's going to one of the short men as the protection does break down. And again, it's one that should be caught. You hit him in the numbers. That's the place you really want to put anything across. You don't want to throw high down the middle, because if you sail it, the safeties pick it off for an interception.
Tony Franklin comes on to try a 50-yard field goal now. As we mentioned last week, he was successful on attempts of 47, 32, and 23. He missed from 41 yards, and in this ball game, he already has a 40-yarder. This one will be 50 yards, and if somebody got a hand on it, looked like Ted Hendricks might have gotten a hand on the ball, and that ball never got anywhere near where it was supposed to. It goes into the end zone. The Raiders will bring it out.
Yeah, I'm sure Ted did block that one. He has been a leader in the National Football League in punt, field goal, and extra point blocks for years.
So far, the Raider defense really doing the job, as Franklin has a field goal blocked from the 50-yard attempt, and we'll be back right after this. Hey, credit Matuzak with that block, although I might differ with that.
So might I. Hendricks kept pointing to the pad on his hands where the ball had hit him.
So the Raiders have it 1st down. Very different Raider football team that we're looking at today than we looked at in the second half of the game against Washington a week ago. In the slot now is Branch inside of Morris Bradshaw. Running backs remain the same. This is Van Eeken at the left side. A little bit of room once more. Gets to about the 38-yard line. Maybe a gain of about 5 yards on the play. Carl Hairston, right end defensively for Philadelphia, makes the stop.
Eagles are a good defensive football team. They finished 3rd last year in the NFC overall defense in the most important category. That is fewest points given up. And they're an underrated ball club. Only Pittsburgh and San Diego in the entire National Football League had a better record last year than these Philadelphia Eagles.
You look at both coaches, Dick Vermeil on one side, Tom Flores in the shadows on the other side. Gain of 4 yards for Van Eeken on first down. Bradshaw starts in motion. King tries the right side. A little bit of room. Gets a step. 45. Midfield. 45 to the 40 to about the 35-yard line. Kenny King gets outside. Credit Henry Killer Lawrence with a block that really sprung him that time. Carl Hairston finally runs him down.
This is one worth taking a look at least twice. Good job by Dave Dalby turning on his man. Upshaw out in front. Takes Berge. Good block kicking out by Henry Lawrence, and then just a good job of running. King gives that man the fake to the inside, goes down the sideline.
Well, that is a whole new dimension to this Raider football team as we watch it once more. Good blocking up front. Upshaw and Lawrence turn it into a big gainer that time. Inside this time at the right side. That was Arthur Whittington, the ball carrier for the Raiders. Charlie Johnson, Bill Berge, Frank LeMaster all there to make the stop. King comes on now, and Whittington leaves. Gain of 5 yards. The Raider offensive line right now really getting off the ball very well.
And the lead back in both these cases, the fullback, Mark Van Eegen, on the last 2 plays. Excellent job of blocking out in front.
Second down and 5, the ball at the 32-yard line. Once more in the slot is Branch inside of Bradshaw to the top of your screen. This is Van Eeken, penalty flag down at about the 34-yard line. Make that the 29-yard line.
They're calling a holding, I think, on Dave Dalby. And it'll be interesting to see what the other flag is. I think that Dalby grabbed the guy because he jumped and was offsides.
We're going to have offsetting penalties.
That's exactly what happened. The man over the center jumped early, and as he got by Dalby, Dalby reacted and grabbed him to keep him from getting into the backfield, and we ended up getting a holding call.
So we'll try this one all over again. It's going to be a second down and 5. Nose the football just short of the 31-yard line. Interestingly, the Raiders have run right as well as they've run left this year, and historically they, of course, have been predominantly a left-handed team. Branch in the slot once more. Second down and 5. Ball at the 32. 3-0 ball game. Eagles lead it. Hand off to King. Tries the left side. Has a little bit. Gets down to almost the 25-yard line. Got to be close to the first down.
Taylor, there's another reason for being able to run right now as effectively as left. We're playing our tight end, Dave Casper, whoever it might be, in this case Casper, on the right more often. Stabler would put him on the left, and that gave you the extra blocker over there. Dan is balancing that out more and putting him right or left.
And it is a first down for the Raiders. Pretty good indication right there of just how well the offensive line is playing early in this football game. That was a play where they didn't look like much.
Offensive backfield coach Lou Urban, guessing before the ball game, was telling me that Pastorini, in his opinion, is probably the most football smart quarterback he's worked with in his years here with the Raiders.
That is a compliment. Branch in the slot to the right side this time, inside of Bradshaw on first down. This is Van Eeken at the right side. Stutter steps, gets back to the 25, about the 24-yard line. Going to be a gain of about 2 yards, maybe 3. LeMaster and Berge make the tackle defensively for Philadelphia. Marked at the 24-yard line. Call it a gain of 3 yards. It'll be second down and 7 yards to go for the Raiders.
Van Eeken has gained 4,919 yards as a Raider and just needs 185 more in the 80 season to become the #1 rusher in Raider history.
Once more running out of the slot with Branch, the slot back. Inside of Morris Bradshaw. Hand off this time to King. King tries the right side after not being able to make it on the left, and the man who came up to make the stop and save a big gainer for the second time today, strong safety Randy Logan, 8-year man out of Michigan.
Looks like on this one the hole is jammed up. King tries to break it back, and had he been able to make the one-man miss here, he'd have been gone. But Logan made the Pro Bowl last year, and the reason he did was strong tackle as a support man on the run and a good pass defender. One of the better safeties in the league.
5 deep backs in the ball game now for the Eagles as the Raiders are faced with a 3rd and 6 situation. Nose of the football just about to the 23-yard line. This time a little bit of confusion on the part of the Raiders. Didn't really know where everybody was supposed to be. Dave Casper came out to one side, kind of looked around, thought maybe he might have to be on the other side as Kenny King was lined up in the gap. and Pastorini will come over and talk it over with Tom Flores. A completed pass and has had an interception. He is 0 for 3, and he's been sacked one time. For Kenny King so far, 4 carries, 31 yards, and Eakins carried the ball 3 times for 12 yards, and Arthur Whittington just the 1 time for 6 yards.
We're talking earlier about the field position for the field goal. It's right on the edge of the grass, and the ball would be placed just at the beginning of the infield, maybe up on the grass, maybe on the dirt, and that's really tough.
Pastorini is the quarterback. 3rd and 6 for the Raiders at the 23-yard line. That is Branch to the far side. Bradshaw starts in motion now to the near side. Straight back to pass. Pumps once. Has time. Throws deep for Bradshaw, I believe. I'm not really sure who he was throwing for.
I think he was going to Bradshaw and overshot.
And once again, just one of those kinds of things that looks like there might have been some kind of communication problem.
Good protection. Excellent job up top by Upshaw, the whole group. And he's long for Bradshaw, I think, rather than short for Branch.
So Jim Breach does come on, and will have to do just exactly what you were talking about, Al. Kick the ball out of a very, very tough place. It snapped off the grass, kicked off the dirt. He'll hit it at the 30-yard line. It'll be a 40-yard attempt out of the hold of Bob Chandler.
I think he went back a yard farther to get it off the edge of the grass, so he'd have a flat place to have the ball spotted.
Ball is snapped, it's placed, it's kicked, and Breach has plenty on it, and it's good. So Jim Breach kicks a pretty tough field goal that time of 40 yards. That equals Tony Franklin's 40-yard attempt, and we have a flat-footed tie in this ball game as Jim Breach is congratulated by his teammates, Jim Upshaw, the captain of this Raider football team. We've got a tie ball game here in Oakland with 4 minutes and 36 seconds still remaining to be played here in the first quarter, and I think, Al, you really have to credit the Raider defense so far with really doing a very fine job. On the other side of the line of scrimmage, the offensive line has really done a fine job early on here.
Yeah, the pass protection has been good, actually, on both sides. The Eagles were one of the better pass protecting teams in the NFC last year. Jaworski had very few sacks and very few interceptions. And, the mark of a team on the rise is being able to cut down those kind of mistakes. It's been good protection, though, with the Raider line. We've given up the 1 sack. We've had 14 sacks in 3 games, but very few with the first line in, and we've gone against some good defensive football teams.
On the sideline, you look at Dick Vermeil. On the other sideline, that is Tom Flores talking with his quarterback, Dan Pastorini, who's now hidden behind Dave Casper. Wally Henry will be the deep man for the Philadelphia Eagles as they are about to receive their first kickoff of the afternoon. It will come off the foot of Jimmy Breach, the man you're looking at.
Wally Henry went to the Pro Bowl last year as the return man in the NFC, so he is dangerous.
And a short kick, although he gets good height on it. Henry takes it at the 6, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. Ducks under 1 man to about the 23-yard line. Tackle made that time by Todd Christensen. Christensen, very valuable member of the Oakland Raiders. Does so many things. As you look at the Raiders scoring drive, 8 plays, 45 yards. Took them 4 minutes and 14 seconds to put those 3 points up on the scoreboard. Todd Christensen snaps on punts, plays special teams, plays tight end, is capable of moving into the running back spot if necessary. Was a running back.
Todd has got size and speed and physical ability, but the thing he's longest in is intense competitiveness. He just wants to play.
First down, Eagles now as Carmichael comes in the slot inside of Fritzky in the I formation. Montgomery is the tailback behind the rookie Perry Harrington running out of the fullback spot. He goes in motion now. Jaworski with a long count. Pitch back to Montgomery. Tries the right side, 20, and right back to line of scrimmage. Good defense that time. Bob Nelson, middle linebacker of the Raiders, makes the tackle. Fine defensive effort once more for Oakland.
Nelson's tackle for him there was exactly the way you coach it. We'll have an isolation look here at the linebackers. Watch 51 working his way to the left, working his way. Now he tries to square his shoulders and take the man square. Don't be reaching from the side. Square up in front of him. Get your shoulders, your chest up on his and just drive him backwards. The best tackles are the ones you can make square up the field.
Raiders playing a 3-4 defense right now. They've changed that defense a great deal. Carmichael comes to the near side. Remember what Dick Vermeil had said about a fly pattern. 2nd down to 10 now. Hand off to Montgomery. Straight ahead across the 25 and the 26. Nelson once more makes the tackle for the Raiders.
Good job by Reggie Kinlaw, who got underneath that play and got an arm in there to help spill the man.
Now the Raiders come with Cedric Hardman and Willie Jones giving them speed on the outside.
Take out Millen, a linebacker, and Browning, a defensive lineman. Go to a 4-man line, put in a 5th defensive back. So we've got 4 pass rush people up front, 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs.
Scott Fritzke comes to the near side, and Carmichael to the far side. Billy Canfield on for Harrington at the running back spot. He's split with Montgomery in the backfield behind Jaworski. Third down, 6 yards to go. Ball at the 27-yard line. 3-3 ball game. Raiders and the Eagles. Straight back Jaworski. Under pressure. Kinlaw chases him. Jaworski rolls away. Still in a hot pursuit by Kinlaw. Has the first down now, 35 to about the 40-yard line. Ron Jaworski that time running away from the pressure put on by Reggie Kinlaw.
Those kind kill you because, as you'll see here, you get the pass rush. Man gets out of the lane. They get a mobile quarterback. Reggie's got to contain just a little more on the outside. Let him off the hook. But it's good to see penetration like that out of your defensive line.
Second game in a row in which Reggie Kinlaw has done that. Kinlaw had an outstanding game in an otherwise rather dismal evening in Washington. 16 yards on the play as it was for Ron Jaworski, and the Eagles have it first down at the 42 with Carmichael to the near side. Running backs once more, Harrington and Montgomery. This is Perry Harrington, gets across the 45 to about the 46-yard line. Hit by the middle of the Raider defense.
It's good offensive line that the Eagles have. And the two tackles, Walters and Sizemore, again, were both in the Pro Bowl last year. Picked as 2 of the 3 best tackles in the entire NFC.
So a gain of 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5 now for the Eagles. Ball at the 47. Perry Harrington, as you see, the Eagles' #2 draft choice out of Jackson State. A lot of people really liked him. This is Harrington to the right side, being contained very well that time, and Hendricks has him for a big loss back to the 41-yard line. Obviously a missed blocking assignment that time for the Eagles, as 4 Raiders that time were right on top of him.
Take a look at this as Harrington sees it. Takes the pitch here and looks upfield. All of a sudden, what happened to the white jerseys?
Incidentally, the Raiders right now are going with cornerbacks Lester Hayes and Dwight Harrison, playing for Monty Jackson. Jackson does not appear to be hurt. He is standing on the sidelines. So Hayes and Jackson are the Raider cornerbacks. And again, I hearken back to Dick Vermeil talking to his offense before, saying that these cornerbacks he feels can be beat. We'll see. Raiders in the nickel defense now. In the slot this time is Carmichael. Jaworski will throw under some pressure again over the middle, and batted around, intercepted by Henry. And he tries to lateral the ball, and I believe the Eagles have this. No, Burgess Owens comes away with it for the Raiders. That's one of those laterals that you will not see in the regular season, though.
Let's hope not. Jaworski going back, and there's a push. But he had time to find the man. Did not see the linebacker. Good job by Barnes cutting across. Hendricks plays a deflection. He tries to lateral that one to Burgess, who does a good job of digging it out. When I was with the Chargers, we had a rule on laterals. If you lateral and the man you lateral to got a touchdown, fine. Otherwise, it was a $100 fine for throwing the football around like that.
So as it is, the Raiders have a break. The ball at the 49 of the Eagles. Straight back to pass on first down is Pastorini. Swings it out for Van Eeken at the 45 to about the 40-yard line. Mark Van Eeken with a great ability to just get that extra yardage. He almost inevitably will get that extra 2 or 3 yards on a play like that.
Mark had a big year as a receiver last year, catching 51. The Raiders were the only team in the league to have 4 receivers who caught 50 or more passes. Van Eeken, Branch on the outside, and the 2 tight ends, Dave Casper and Raymond Chester.
Gain of 9 yards on first down that time for the Raiders, and that puts Pastorini now into a position where the Eagles really have to guess. Pastorini gives this time to Van Eeken. He has the first down to about the 38-yard line. Berge and Hairston make the stop for the Eagles, but not before Mark Van Eeken picks up another Raider first down.
And I had the good fortune of drafting and signing Bill Berge when I was a director of player personnel with Cincinnati. And our Matt Millen reminds me a great deal of Berge. Size-wise, they look alike to some degree. They think alike. They're intense football players. And I feel that Bill Berge worked out to be a choice you were proud of. And I feel we're going to have the same kind of history out of Matt Millen.
Second down, isn't it?
Dick Vermeil asking what down it is on the sideline. You'll hear Dick Vermeil's voice quite a lot during this broadcast. 1st and 10 at the 38 for the Raiders now. Play action this time. Pastorini will throw. Has a bit of time. Goes for it all. Deep is Branch on the end zone, and he cannot hang on. Crowd asking for interference that time on Bernard Wilson. There was some tangling up of the legs, but one of those either way kinds of calls, I'd have to say.
See the fake here.
So the first quarter comes to an end with the score: the Philadelphia Eagles 3 and the Oakland Raiders 3, and we'll be back with more football action right after this message. So Dan Pastorini goes for the whole bundle on first down. He is now faced with a 2nd down and 10. Ball at the 38-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles. Bobby Chandler is on for the Raiders at a flanker back position. He replaces Morris Bradshaw, who was the man on the receiving end, or the attempted receiving end of that last Dan Pastorini pass. Bradshaw to the near side and Chandler to the far side on 2nd and 10. Straight back to pass. Pastorini has time, pumps once, throws for Branch, makes the catch at the 28, tries to back into that first down. He will be close, but I believe he may be a little bit short. Johnny Henderson, the man defending. It is a first down for the Raiders.
Pastorini gets time. Good job up front. Upshaw, Marvin, Henry Lawrence, excellent job. Finds Branch, goes a little tall to him. And Cliff just kind of struggles there, and the extra foot or two made that first down.
For Pastorini, that is his 2nd completion. He is 2 for 7 now. Has had 1 interception. Jaworski no better at 1 for 7 with an interception. Pastorini this time rolls to his right, has plenty of time, looks deep for Chandler, now comes underneath to Kenny King, and King can't hang on once more. Pastorini a little bit tall for Kenny King, who was in traffic. Ted Sizemore walking around, waiting for his turn once more.
That's all he needs is more size. One of those little offensive linemen in the NFL, about 6'5", 265 or
That's
270.
Right. Came from a pretty good football school, too.
Not bad. University of Texas.
Kenny King, leading rusher in the ball game, incidentally, 4 carries, 31 yards. 2nd and 10 for the Raiders at the 28-yard line now. Once more, Pastorini delayed this time to Van Eeken. Has a little room, 25, tiptoes to the 20-yard line. Good individual effort that time once more by Mark Van Eeken. Mickey Marvin leading the way up front. Bill Berge and Frank LeMaster make the tackle for the Eagles. Can't remark too often how many times Mark Van Eeken just has that innate ability to convert what it would normally be a 3 or 4 yard gain into a 6 and 7 yard gain. Look at the stats from the first quarter. The Raiders with 52 yards rushing, and that's a very encouraging number. Just 1 yard passing, 53 total yards to 49 for the Eagles. 3-3 ball game, just underway, 2nd period. Going to be 3rd down and 2 as Van Eeken got 8 on that delay, gets the call once more, and I believe has the first down to about the 16-yard line. Whistles blow, and the officials will unpile to make certain of the fact that Mark Van Eeken does have that first down, but I'm quite sure he does, to about the 16-yard line. Raiders able to run pretty well, and as you mentioned, that's a rather encouraging sign.
Give him the first without a measurement. It was good surge by the offensive line. The key is really everybody getting off on the ball and just starting to roll those big people back.
Raiders have managed to move the football, albeit not through the air so much, but on the ground. Branch near side. It is Bradshaw far side. Kenny King and Mark Van Eeken still the running backs. This is King right side behind Upshaw. Now he gets outside once more. A good block to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. And stop, let's see. Where do they say at the 4-yard line? He stepped out of bounds. Van Eeken leading the way. Want to see who made that ceiling block to get him outside.
On the sweep, both guards pulling. Good job, Marvin. Beautiful job by Van Eeken, turning it back inside. King doing a fine job, making the man miss out on the 4.
So the Raiders come to the line of scrimmage with a 1st and goal. The nose of the football short of the 3-yard line. That is Branch in the slot. Pastorini gives to Van Eeken, tries the right side, is close, is in. Touchdown Raiders. And that was an outstanding drive for the Oakland Raiders, their best of the year, I'd say.
Yes, it was. It mixed up the run and the pass, but the big thing, again, the offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage, gave Dan time to throw when he wanted to, did a good job running up inside, and did an excellent job going outside, both the men pulling and the outside guys. One thing that helped on that sweep was a good job by the outside receivers coming back. There's Mark Van Eeken working his way over to the sideline. Now we'll take another look at that play. Straight ahead blocking with the lead block by 33. And just a good job of everyone getting off, putting the helmets down, and looking for the big wide stripe and not settling for anything less.
Credit the offensive line and Mark Van Eeken with that drive. A fine scoring drive for the Raiders. Breach's extra point try is up and good. And the Raiders right now doing it just like they have it when they put the X's and the O's up on the training room chalkboard. Raiders take a 10-3 lead here. We have 12 minutes and 51 seconds remaining to be played here in the first half of this football game. And the score, the Raiders 10 and the Philadelphia Eagles 3. We'll be back right after this. You are all heart now. A squib kick here, a little dribbling kick, going to be picked up by Harrington at about the 24. Gets back with room, 35-40, outside 45 of the midfield stripe to the 48-yard line. So that time that squib kick really cost the Raiders and puts the Eagles in fine field position. Jim Breach was the man who ran him out of bounds. I think Jim Breach has 3 tackles now this preseason. The I formation, that is Carmichael in the slot, and whistles blow. Let's see what we have here. This time I think we are going to get too much time. No, we're not going to get too much time.
I'll tell you what to watch for on time. The official who keeps it is downfield. I think he called Kinlaw for making contact. It didn't look like he hit the helmet from here, but they're a lot closer on the field. But the man who keeps the time is the official way behind the defense. And if he doesn't throw the flag, it's normally not going to be a delay of game.
So a 1st and 5 situation for the Eagles now. Running backs Montgomery and Harrington split behind Jaworski. This is Montgomery at the left side. Gets that good, quick first step. Takes it down to about the 40-yard line. Stacked up that time by Mike Davis. Davis in the midst of a very good half here.
He used the official at the end of the field because he's facing one of those 30-second clocks, which are normally at the end of the stadium. They're not here in the Coliseum during the preseason because this field is turned around. But he has a direct view and can see the quarterback and over his shoulder the 30-second clock, so that's the man with the best view to call delay of the game.
Dave Casper pacing the Raiders sideline. Jaworski now with a 2nd down and 3. Hands to Montgomery again. Montgomery's stacked up that time. Ted Hendricks was the first man to him. He had help from Matuzak. Nelson also around the ball. And I believe they did manage to stop Montgomery short of the 1st down. So from a 1st and 5, the Eagles are now faced with a 3rd and 1. They come with an extra tight end now. He is number 86, Lewis Gilbert. And Pritzky leaves. 3rd and a yard now. Ball at the 38-yard line. Raider defense has done quite a job tonight. The numbers on Wilbert Montgomery, 7 carries, 16 yards. Kenny King, the leading ground gainer in the game. Handoff this time to Harrington. Raiders try to keep him outside and do. Once more, good defense by Bob Nelson, playing in the middle of the Raider linebacking core. And just to name a couple of names, Nelson, Davis, both doing outstanding work tonight.
We'll take a second look here, and you'll see support on the outside by 28. Coming up, turning it in, and helping Nelson. The man had nowhere to go but back into Nelson. We'll see it again here. 28 takes on the block of 31 and doesn't go down. Forces the ball carrier to go inside where Nelson filled the hole well. That cornerback will stay up and not widen out. The defense works a lot better.
So Runninger comes on to punt. Last time he passed from this position, and let's see what they come up with this time. Deep man for the Raiders, Ira Matthews, stands at about the 10-yard line. A lot of yelling and screaming going on. Raiders try a block from up the middle. Runninger punts the ball, tries for the sideline on the right side, and going to be very close to it, but the ball takes a funny hop and goes into the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and the Raiders will put it in play at their own 20-yard line. 10 minutes and 26 seconds remaining to be played here in the first half. The Oakland Raiders, with defense really being the story so far, out in front of the Philadelphia Eagles by a score of 10-3. We'll be back with more from the Coliseum right after this message.
Raiders have held the Eagles to just 29 yards and 12 rushing plays. When you can keep good backs like Montgomery at 2.5 yards per carry, that's an excellent job.
First down at the 20, handoff this time. Whittington tries the left side, gets to about the 25-yard line, a little bit short of the 25. A gain of about 5 yards on the play. Bill Berge runs him down, but the Raiders getting good first down yardage, and boy, that sure makes things a lot easier for the quarterback.
Tempo out there.
Gain of 5 yards.
We can't make a first down with 18 balls. Where did we break down on it?
You could hear the frustration in the voice of Dick Vermeil on the Eagles sideline saying, we can't make a first down anyway. 2nd and 5 Raiders at the 25. Pastorini on the delay this time to Whittington. Whittington is really stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Good hit that time up front by Frank Lamaster.
Hart stumbled. We'll take a look here at Berge and see the action right from the middle. See how quickly he reads that as a draw. What had happened, Art Whittington had stumbled in the backfield, and it was kind of obvious he was coming for the football. linebackers froze then and did not drop back in the pass coverage.
Nonetheless, a gain of 2 yards, going to be 3rd and 3 at the 27-yard line. Branch near side, Chandler far side. Pastorini will throw, has time, good protection. Comeback pattern for Chandler, and he makes the grab. No, they say he did not make the grab. And Bobby's going to question that one, no question. He runs that pattern as well as anybody in football.
We'll see it again. Maybe if the camera angle is good, we can make a judgment. Oh, yeah, he had both toes in. Both toes in.
Definitely
dragged his toes. We lost one like that another ball game. A bad call here at home on the right in front of us on the bench. Sharon Craig, one of the Raiderettes. She thinks the officials may be right.
Did not see that play. Pastorini comes on to punt it away for the Raiders as they are faced with a 4th and 3 here. Eagles showing a 10-man front momentarily. John Sherrill, the lone deep man. Now they drop off and they will play run back. Good high end-over-end kick here. Chases Sherrill over the near sideline. Takes a reverse hop now and will go out of bounds somewhere in the area of about the 48 or 9-yard line, I'd say.
And if Dan gets a normal bounce there, that would have been an excellent kick.
Montgomery, he is in the I formation in the tailback spot. Jaworski will throw. Throws over here for Carmichael by his lonesome at the 35 between the zone. Takes it down about the 31-yard line. Rod Martin was the man defending for the Raiders that time, deep downfield, but Carmichael running a perfect pattern.
That was an excellent job of finding the seam in the zone. That is not just between people, between short and long. Over the head of the linebacker and in front of the drop back zoning man, Dwight Harrison on that sideline.
Spotter Len Shapiro pointing out that Louis Gimona, who is in the ball game now, the leading pass receiver so far in the preseason for the Eagles. Handoff to Harrington, gets across the 25, rather across the 30 to about the 28-yard line.
You know, we heard Dick Vermeil call a play earlier, 18 Bob Odd, the one that they didn't get the first down on, and it kind of, it's old home time. That's exactly the same terminology we use here, and we both got it from the same man, Sid Gilman, who put the system in with the Chargers. Al Davis was in charge of the offense there. Much of that system came north. Sid Gilman has also been instrumental in putting in the offense for Dick Vermeil with the Eagles, so the terminology is very similar.
And part of the game you just saw, closing a little wound on the sideline, the Philadelphia Eagles. Back split now behind Jaworski in motion. This time comes Jamal to the near side. Jaworski will throw, goes for Carmichael. Carmichael hangs on despite good defense by Lester Hayes at about the 15-yard line. Once again, just size is the difference in that play.
It's really difficult to cover a man 6'8", 225 who stops and cuts it right in front of you. There just isn't any way to get around him to get to the ball. It's like waltzing with Big Bertha. You know, you just can't make it to the other side.
Speaking of waltzing with Big Bertha, Ron Jaworski did a little waltzing with John Matuzak that time after the ball was thrown. Raiders are managing to put a little bit of pressure on the quarterback, though, and that, too, for this preseason is pretty much a first. Fritzke comes to the near side now. Carmichael slots inside of him. Gimona is the I-back. And Perry Harrington at fullback in the I formation with Ron Jaworski. Now Harrington goes in motion to the far side. Handoff goes to Gimona straight ahead this time. And Gimona hit pretty good at about the 12-yard line by Matt Millen.
We were kind of glad to see that the Eagles were going to play some I formation because Kansas City, who we play in the league opener next Sunday back there in the Midwest, is given up much of their wing T and has gone to an I formation, and so we get an extra day or two's work against the I, which we'll need to get ready for KC.
Gain of 3 yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 7 now. The ball at the 12-yard line. Ron Jaworski, the quarterback for these Philadelphia Eagles. Gimona and Harrington, the running back. Straight back. Everybody in the pattern this time. Jaworski has time. Goes end zone for Harrington. Flag down. Carmichael could not hang on in the end zone. I believe I said Harrington. It was Carmichael in the end zone. And let's see what we've got here. It's going to be an interference call, but it could go the other way. Officials talking to Mike Davis. And the Raiders marching back toward the original line of scrimmage, but now they are saying it is going to be a push, I believe. We'll look again as Jaworski straight back to pass, has plenty of time that time, finds Carmichael in the end zone. Carmichael just couldn't hang on over Dwight Harrison.
The call was illegal push, illegal chuck, that is making contact with the receiver once he is more than 5 yards downfield. But again, a guy as big as Carmichael, if he and you get tangled, it's hard not to have contact. There's just so much of him.
5-yard
penalty. That's a tough call.
5-yard penalty to the 7-yard line. It is a first down, however. Pritzky comes to the near side. Carmichael to the far side. That is Jamona in the slot. Straight back to pass Jaworski. Over the middle for Pritzky. Can't hang on. And a flag goes down again, and Lester Hayes does not like it one bit. I hope we get a chance to look at this one again.
There was contact, but not the kind of contact you call interference with. We'll see it again. It's a slant pass to the wide receiver on the outside here, and he cuts inside, and there is some contact, but that's not an interference call kind of contact.
So the Zebras...
So the receiver does not own the territory he's going into. He has to avoid, under the rules, running through the defender. Defender does not have to give up position. And that one, I think Lester kind of held his ground, and there was some contact. And under the rules, he's entitled to the position he has. The man has to avoid making contact with him.
As it is a first and goal at the 1-yard line. Eagles with 2 tight ends in the ball game now. Running backs Jamona and Harrington behind Jaworski on first down. This is Jamona, nothing doing. Nothing doing. Stacked up by Matt Millen.
You know, Jamona is one of the smallest backs in pro football. He started that play at 5'9", but he's about 5'6" right now. Matt
Millen, you could really see him improving with every game, and there's never been a question of how hard he hits, but boy, he has really stuck a couple of people today. If anything, a loss of about a half yard. Knows the football now short of the 1-yard line. Matt Millen just filled the hole and really cracked Louis Jamona. Second down now. Back split behind Jaworski are Jamona and Harrington. Still 2 tight ends in the ball game. Jaworski gives to Jamona, tries the left side. Nobody there again. Matt Millen once more makes the tackle.
It was a superb job underneath by Dwight Harrison, who beat a block, came up, filled, put the helmet right in the middle, and dumped him.
So the Raiders really knuckling in.
We'll see that one again. They're coming strong side right. Right there, 28 underneath, says no way. This is a stage of the field where defensive backs have to be total football players. They're not paid to play pass defense on the goal line. They have to, but they have to stop the run.
Loss of about 1.5 yards. Watch for the rollout now. 2 tight ends in the ball game. Jaworski rolls to the right side. Will throw for the end zone. Well defended. Hayes makes the interception in the end zone. Outstanding effort by Lester Hayes, who just fronted the man and made a very, very tough catch of a Ron Jaworski pass.
Here it is, Jaworski, good call by Tompkins, who expected the rollout. That's what Jaworski did. Hendricks is tall enough to make him loop it up. And then Lester Hayes, who can dunk a basketball, though he's only 5'11", goes up and takes it away from a 6'8" receiver.
Well, the Raider defense, once more, you just can't talk enough about them.
They've done a good job. You can't do a better job than that one. Kept both feet in.
Eagles had it first down at the 1-yard line. The Raiders with a good defense. Lester Hayes comes away with the interception. We have 4:45 remaining to be played in the first half, and the Raiders lead it 10-3. 2 interceptions in the Raiders once on the Dan Pastorini pass interception early in the game. Pastorini still at quarterback for the Raiders now. Crowd fired up for the first time this year in Oakland. Branch in the slot inside of Chandler. This is Kenny King. King with a little bit of room to about the 22. Carl Hairston. Bill Berge make the stop. Slot formation once more with Branch slotted inside of Chandler on 2nd and 8 now. Passing down for Dan Pastorini. Straight back to pass he goes. Has time once more. Plenty of time. Throws for Casper all alone at the 40 to the 44-yard line. Dan Pastorini getting time to throw the football, and that, of course, is the key. The master defending. A 22-yard gain on that play out.
Plenty of time here for Dan. A straight drop back. Just an excellent job up front. Plenty of time. Good grab by Dave. Ball just a little behind him. As I said, Casper hadn't practiced a lot this week because of a sore ankle, and ran some tests today. It is not the gout, and they think they have it under control.
Derek Jensen in the ball game now for the Raiders at a running back spot, replacing Mark Van Eken. Pastorini will throw on first down. Pumps once, goes for it all. Branch out in front, has a step. Branch cannot hang on. The ball is thrown a little bit too far. Cliff Branch had a slow down, and the ball was thrown out of bounds. Branch had him by about 2 steps at one point.
Straight drop back again. Pastorini fakes right, comes back to Branch, and the ball is just a little wide.
Well, Branch had his man, Donnie Henderson, beaten very badly that time. Henderson, a rookie out of Utah State, getting a bit of a lesson here.
One of the complaints that quarterbacks have when the stadium's turned this way during baseball, we don't have that wide white border, and it's hard for him to find the sideline going long.
2nd and 10 now at the 44. Pastorini straight back to pass again. Kenny King in the pattern. He's the receiver. Midfield, ball thrown too high once more. And Pastorini very unhappy with himself that time. He just simply overthrew Kenny King. Jerry Robinson defending, but King had position on the man and would likely have made the reception.
Dave Casper complained to the officials again that Eagle linebackers been grabbing by the jersey and spinning him around and trying to slow him down on the routes. We got fined one year for Casper having his jersey out against Pittsburgh, $250, and he complained that it wasn't him, it was the linebackers. We sent the film back to the league and they agreed. Casper said, let's charge, I'll pay 50 if each of the 4 linebackers of Pittsburgh each pay a 50.
So it's 3rd and 10 now, Raiders at the 44-yard line. Straight back once more, Pastorini. 5 people in the pattern now. Pastorini goes over here for Branch once more. He's up but cannot hang on.
That would have been a tough catch. Ball was just a little wide for him. Dan has to step up here. There is some penetration. There was a stunt. 78 comes around. Recovery by 50 on the block, and the ball a little wide. Dan had to rush a little bit with that stunt in the defensive line breaking clear.
Cliff Branch has got to start thinking at some point, I wish I was taller than 5'10". Listen to Dick Vermeil on the sidelines.
Both 1st and 2nd down on me, so I know that next time. Did they run a wide both 1st and 2nd down?
You can see some of the confusion that goes on the sidelines. John Sherritt received this punt from Dan Pastorini. Once more, the Eagles show a 10-man front. Now they drop off again. That'll be a return right this time for Sherritt. And Sherritt takes that first stutter step, gets back to the 20-yard line, and that's all. Raiders defending very well, and the Eagles will have it at the 20-yard line.
First man down was Bradshaw, who forced him up inside. And you can remember a few years ago, Raider fans, when Morris Bradshaw up in Denver proved to be probably the best coverage man on punts, did a superb job of getting to Rick Upchurch. There's Guy on the sideline. He's been having some problems with back spasms. And Tom Flores decided, let's rest him. We know what he can do and let him get 100% well and give Pastorini a chance to kick some.
So the Eagles will have it with 3 minutes and 1 second remaining to be played here in the first half. Raiders lead the football game 10-3. Eagles have it at the 20-yard line. Fritzke to the near side. Carmichael to the far side. Lone setback is Harrington. He gets the call to the 20 to about the 23. Once more, Mike Davis really sticking him. Davis and Matt Millen have really been stickouts on the defense so far tonight for the Oakland Raiders.
Coming into camp knowing that you're the starter, that you're going to be the starting strong safety, gave him, I think, a lift all offseason to get ready. It's a role he needs to play.
Once more, Jamona in the slot now. Carmichael near side, Fritzke far side. Short drop for Jaworski. Throws out here for Fritzke. Makes the grab, but good defense that time by Harrison will keep him, I believe, short of the first down. Really dominating the ball game, doing so extremely well. They lead it by a 10-3 count. We're at the 2-minute warning, and we will be back with more from the Oakland Coliseum right after this message. So 2 minutes of football remaining here in the first half. The ball is at the 31-yard line. 1st and 10 Eagles. Fritzke to the near side. Carmichael the far side in the I formation. Everybody in the pattern this time. Jaworski swings it out here for Jamona. Penalty flag down 30, 35 to the 40-yard line, and dragged back short of the 40-yard line by Ted Hendricks is little Louis Jamona. And we have a penalty flag right back, actually in the backfield, and we'll see what this is all about.
Again, you're looking to stop everything deep and 20 yards down, so you give up some of the underneath coverage. Now the key thing here is to try and keep them in the field to play, so the clock has to keep running. Clock gets stopped, but the penalty, you'll take the clock stopped and 10-yard penalty anytime. But again, Mike Davis, if you notice, came up to make that tackle from the outside. Force the man in. Don't let him get to the sideline. Don't let him get to the sideline so that they have to use a timeout. He has to assume there wasn't a penalty.
Stan Walters, the guilty party of the holding penalty. 52 seconds remaining now in the first half. That is 1:52. I apologize. I thought I was wondering how that play took 1 minute and 8 seconds. Straight back to pass to Jaworski. Has time, throws out here for Jamona. Jamona has it at the 28-yard line to the 30 to about the 33-yard line. Bob Nelson keeps him in bounds. Clock will keep running. 1:39 remaining. Eagles with a hurry-up offense now come back to the line of scrimmage. Raiders scrambling on defense. Can't get the substitutions in if they wanted to. Gain of 13 yards, and now whistles blow, and let's see what we have. Oakland calls for a timeout.
We had 12 men out on the field and didn't want to give them the penalty, which would have stopped the clock anyway. Or to win in your own division. When you win in your own division, somebody in that division loses.
So it's a 2nd and 7, but it's the clock that is really important. The ball to the 34-yard line. Jaworski will throw as everybody in the pattern again. Comes over the middle this time once more for Jamona. He is really cracked at about the 41-yard line, but I believe he has the first down. Rod Martin was the man who hit him. Once more the Eagles hustle to the line of scrimmage. 1:12 remaining here. It is a first down. So the clock will stop at least long enough for the chains to move up. Now it starts again. 103, 102, 101. Jaworski will throw. And under pressure throws it away here for Jamona, and Jamona cannot make the catch, but that will stop the clock. Reggie Kinlaw pretty good pressure that time on Ron Jaworski, and that forced Jaworski to just kind of throw the ball away and get the clock stopped, get back in a huddle, and discuss what he's going to do from here. He has 57 seconds remaining to be played here in the first half. His team trails the Oakland Raiders by a 10-3 count.
See, with 57 seconds, he also has 3 timeouts left and 58 yards to go, and that's plenty of time with those timeouts to keep going for the touchdown. Though with Franklin's range, they're in field goal range with about 2 first downs.
Raiders playing with 5 deep backs now. It is a 2nd and 10, but once more that is not really material. This is a swing pass out here for Jamona, kind of a screen pass, but a good defensive play that time by Mike Davis. Davis has been in the middle of play a lot. That time he got in the middle of sort of a quasi-screen. It didn't really look too much like a screen, but he managed to get a hand on Jamona's jersey and dragged him down.
Vermeil was not too happy with that when he just yelled to his lineman, "What happened to my screen?" Nobody got out to help the back. I think that was a predetermined. You see 69 coming there, Peoples, but late.
And even so, credit Mike Davis with a very, very good stop, because Jamona did have a little bit of field left, even though he didn't have a lot of help out there. Clock tells the story, 48 seconds left.
By making the tackle and keeping the man in bounds, the Raiders forced the Eagles to use one of their 3 timeouts, but still, they've got 2 left and 48 seconds, and that's plenty of time. Remember, anytime they get an incomplete pass, the clock stops. Anytime they go out of bounds, either on a reception or a run, the clock will stop.
Like one of the coaches for the Rams on the sidelines during the game, the coach said, "Tell old what's-his-name, I won't mention the name, to go out there and get a leg injury real quick." This is Jaworski to pass again under pressure, and with a hand on him that time, the man we just spoke of, Cedric Hardman, number 86.
You know, Cedric came that time from the defensive right end, and that's the spot he played his 10 years with the 49ers. He's more comfortable there than the left side. See, he's up at the top. Kinlaw pinches inside, forces the quarterback to stay back where he can't step up to avoid Hardman. It takes teamwork to get a good rush.
Played off the block very well that time and made the grab with one hand. So the Raiders putting some pressure on the quarterbacks, and that has been a major factor in this ball game. Runninger will kick it away now. He'll be kicking to Ira Matthews. Raiders this time play block and can't quite come away with it. Spiraling kick this time. Penalty flag is down, and Matthews calls for a fair catch and makes it at about the 18-yard line. Flag was thrown by the back judge, Stan Javi rather.
Called for the fair catch that far upfield was that you don't waste any time trying to run to the sideline. The clock will stop. The clock stops on a fair catch. They change of possession, and it might take you 5, 8, 10 seconds to try to run upfield or get to the sideline. You conserve that time by calling the fair catch and getting the clock to stop.
Well, the Raiders have 37 seconds and 90 yards. They have been able to run deep patterns, but at this juncture you would think that they probably would not do so. Pastorini on a delay this time to Kenny King. Slips out of one tackle. Now he cuts back the other way, and there's still not a lot of help to be found. He goes down at the line of scrimmage to the 10-yard line. Carl Hairston was the man who kind of turned Kenny King around.
Pastorini looked at the sideline, and Coach Flores gave him the signal, just let's run the clock out.
And the clock shows 13 seconds left, so we may well have already seen the last play of the first half. The Raiders just standing around. 7 seconds, now 6, and the Raiders are not even going to bother coming to the line of scrimmage. They will merely run off the field, and we have reached the end of the first. Mark Van Eegen scored a touchdown here. It was the Raiders' only touchdown of the half, but it came at the end of a very impressive drive. You can see Van Eegen just with great body control, runs behind Mickey Marvin there. Al Locasal, we're going to have one more look at this. Describe it for us, if you will. Mark Van Eegen with an easy touchdown run. Well, at least it looks easy.
This is a 60 series. Straight ahead, no tackle for 5, guard for 10. Is the #1 backup man at all 3 spots, center, guard, and tackle. So it's like having 3 people out when Sylvester's injured.
When is he expected back? Is there any?
He will start to work this week, and we'll find out more.
Zachary Dixon, the deep man for the Eagles, as Jimmy Breach kicks it off to him, an end-over-end kick that Dixon comes over here and finally will pick up at the 3, and he's in a whole heap of trouble. Tackle made down there that time by Arthur Whittington. Larry Brunson, the first man down, making the tackle, along with Kerry Parker also there. So the Raiders will put the Eagles deep in the hole to start things here in the second half. Raiders lead the football game 10-3. Raiderettes on the sidelines preparing for another 30 minutes of action too. Blake Canfield and Perry Harrington are the running backs. We have not seen Walter Montgomery since the first quarter. Jaworski is still the quarterback. In the eye now with Canfield in the tailback spot. This is Canfield, stutter step, nothing doing. Reggie Kinlaw drags him down at about the 11-yard line. Gain of a yard. Kinlaw also coming into his own. Had a fine game last week against Washington.
Rod Martin penetrated on that one and forced the back to jump back. And good running backs are not hard to tackle when they're jumping around rather than running.
Call it a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd down and 8. The ball at the 12-yard line. Otis McKinney and Kerry Parker in the Raiders secondary now. So the Raiders do continue to look at a lot of people. They are not real deep in those positions either right now with an injury to rookie Kenny Hill. Jaworski will throw. Goes deep this time for Fritzke. And Fritzke makes the grab at about the 49-yard line. Now what happened there is Parker turned around.
Turned the wrong way.
Looked for the ball, and all of a sudden it was in Fritzke's hands.
We'll see this one. Jaworski gets time to throw. Unloads quickly. Lays it out, lets the guy run for the ball. Parker had good position, but turned the wrong way, turned too soon. Keep going. The key is the receiver has to catch the ball in his hands. You run to his hands. When he reaches, now you know where the ball is. And he kind of started backpedaling and turned too soon. The ball sailed on him. That's a kind of a giveaway.
So the Eagles with a big play and a first down at the Raider 47 now in the I formation again. This is Canfield. Canfield, that is Jamona, not Canfield. A fumble, and I believe the Raiders have this one. They do. So the Raiders get the break back. On the bottom of the pile, none other than Mike Davis, who is in the midst of what might be his finest football game as an Oakland Raider.
See, the ball did come out as he goes to the ground. It is not dead. It's a good call. In fact, I thought we might have popped it up quickly and been running with it. He's starting to loose it right here on the hit. It's coming out now before he went down. It was a good call by the officials. Davis reaches in. If he had come up clean, he might have been running with that thing. That was a good call by the officials. He lost the ball before he flattened out as he was going to the ground.
Well, the officials say it was not a fumble now, so the Eagles will have the ball at the 45-yard line of the Raiders. I didn't want to say that. Hand off this time to the deep back Canfield, and Canfield gets to about the 41-yard line.
Yeah, the only excuse for that kind of call is if one of them had blown the whistle before the ball came out, which would have been a premature whistle.
And I think that is what the decision was. That
we had one of those a few years ago in Denver that we all well remember.
Well, once again, if you're going to have calls that go against you, now's the time to do it. 3rd down, 4 at the 41. Jaworski will throw, slips a little bit, holds back over the middle, wide open, and once more hit him in the hands. Penalty flag is down, and we are going to get a holding call, unquestionably a holding call, a blatant holding call, as the pass that time was intended for the tight end, John Spagnola. He couldn't hold on anyway. It's going to bring about a 4th down, and it is out of field goal range, so I don't know. What do you do? Do you take the play here?
Well, that would have been one of those holdings where if the guy had an axe instead of a hand, our guy would look like Venus de Milo.
Well, the call is going to be refused by the Raiders, and it will be a 4th down. And the punting team will come on for the Eagles.
Again, a good defensive series.
That's true. The Raiders have really dug in when they absolutely have had to. gave up that big pass play when Parker turned the wrong way. And stiffened after that, gave up nothing. And on the third down play, holding penalty, which is refused, and so it's fourth down. And Runninger will punt it away to Ira Matthews. Raiders this time kind of dropping off of the run back. High kick that Matthews will just let go, and it does go into the end zone. And the Raiders will put it in play at the 20-yard line. So the Oakland defense again up to the task, and ball will come out from 20 now, and the Raiders will have it first down, their first offensive effort of this second half. Pastorini will pass on first down at the 20-yard line. Throws over the middle for Branch. Makes a tough catch in traffic at the 35-yard line. It'll be a first down Raiders. Herman Edwards defending that time.
Plenty of time to throw. Dalby has just been solid tonight up front. Mickey Marvin stepping up to help. Pastorini doing the thing he can do best on the middle kind of passes is drill the ball, deliver it with some authority into a small window. We call it the opening, and they're a window, and he can get it through a smaller window than a lot of people.
It's been the big window that has been Dan's problem so far tonight. That time he really did thread it. Pastorini will throw again. First down. Has time, a lot of time, and now he's grabbed it. Down he goes, fumbles the football, but that's going to be after the whistle. And that time he was really wrapped up. He had a lot of time, so obviously his receivers recovered. He was looking deep that time to either Branch or Arthur Whittington, I believe.
Casper on the sideline with Mike Gonzalez, one of our assistant trainers, ice bag.
Charlie Johnson, the man who made the tackle. Watch it again.
They stunt and scrape a man free right here. Brought a linebacker, too.
Dennis Harrison also in on the play. There is an eagle down on the field. It is Charlie Johnson who... Well, while we were away, a pass from Pastorini to Kenny King for 16 puts the Raiders in a third and short yardage situation at the 45. Handoff this time to Van Eeken, has the first down at about the 47-yard line. So Mark Van Eeken with a good individual effort again. Kenny King was the man on the receiving end of that pass while we were in a commercial break from Dan Pastorini. It was good for 16 yards. Pastorini had time to throw, and King, running kind of a deep curl pattern, came back to make the catch and put it just short of the first down. Randy Logan was the man who made the tackle on Mark Van Eeken. But it is a first down. The ball at the 47-yard line. We're 5 minutes into this third quarter now. See last year's numbers on Dan Pastorini while at Houston, who had 14 touchdowns, and tonight 2 of 2 in the second half, and that's a significant figure, I think. Pastorini straight back to pass again. Under some pressure with a man on his jersey that time, throws the ball away. Comes to the near side. Morris Bradshaw to the far side. Running backs, same as start of the game for the Raiders, Van Eeken and King. This is a delay this time to King. King tries to get outside, does so at midfield. That is Whittington, not King, to the 40 to the 35-yard line. Arthur Whittington, not Kenny King, as I mentioned, with a big gain for the Raiders and a first down before being run out of bounds by Jerry Robinson. So Whittington showing that once he gets that step, he can get outside as well.
Here's the key block right there. Mickey Marvin turns his man out. Upshaw turns his man in. Whittington takes the spot.
Gain of 18 yards for Arthur Whittington, third-year man out of SMU. The ball at the 35-yard line. Raiders moving the ball very well, consistently on the ground tonight. Wright started to take hold here at the Coliseum. Straight back to pass. Pump fake to the swingman this time, and now back and overthrowing Morris Bradshaw. Almost intercepted that time by Ronell Young. So once more, Dan Pastorini starting to pick up a few boos from the partisans here at the Oakland Coliseum, and take a look and see if there was any reason for this.
Tell you, the boos come with the job. The ball just sailed. I think he lost a grip, and the thing just went out sailing on him.
Almost picked off by Ronell Young that time, too. That was a Billy Kilmer pass.
We used to say quarterbacks get too much credit, too much blame, probably a little too much money.
Second down and 10, the ball at the 36. Straight back again, Pastorini. See if he can change the boos to cheers. Goes this time on the same pattern to Bradshaw. A little bit wide. Bradshaw can't hang on nor keep the feet down. Ronell Young defending, but Bradshaw was open. And again, that ball might have been just a tad wide. Marion Campbell on the sidelines, the defensive coordinator of these Philadelphia Eagles.
Marion Campbell and Fred Bruni, the pass defense coach of the Eagles, are guys with great backgrounds in the old AFL with the with the wild Boston Patriots, who probably pioneered a lot of the dogging defenses and things that are now standard in football.
Charlie Johnson back in at the nose guard for the Eagles, and in the running back spot for the Raiders, Derek Jensen for Mark Van Eeken on 3rd and 10. The ball at the 36. Branch near side, Bradshaw far. Pastorini will pass, this time over the middle, and a catch is made by Raymond Chester at about the 17-yard line. Chester fumbles, and the Eagles, I believe, do have it. I believe the Eagles do have it. They do at the 23-yard line. So a melancholy first catch of the year for Raymond Chester. Made the catch for a big first down, had it at the 18-yard line. With 2 so far. That second one cost them a very fine drive up to that point. Defensively for the Raiders now, Kerry Parker and Lester Hayes, the cornerbacks. Otis McKinney, the free safety, with Mike Davis still the strong safety. 2nd and 5 as they give a gain of 5 to Canfield that time. Canfield and Harrington, the running backs, behind Jaworski. This time a screen pass is attempted, and I believe it was Rod Martin got a hand on it. Martin coming up very fast from his outside linebacker position to get a hand on that ball. It was a well-laid plan, actually, for the Eagles. All the flow of the play was coming to the right, and the screen was going to come back to the left side.
That was predetermined dog. That wasn't a matter of a read. Rod Martin was dogging from the go. We might be able to pick it up here. Hendricks is staying, but Martin is dogging on his side. Hendricks is working his way from the to the outside. Hendricks is playing one of the inside linebacker spots here now.
So Hendricks moving inside. That is an unusual position for him. But with the loss of Monty Johnson, the Raiders are going to have to do some scrambling. Now Hendricks showing blitz, and he starts to come and gets picked up quickly, but right on top of him is Reggie Kinlaw. And you might have to credit Ted Hendricks with that.
Sure do. He drew an extra blocker and left them one man short. You can see Vermeil on the sideline. He's hollering on the phone to his people upstairs. Where are they all coming from?
Huh?
Well, the Raider defense, again, very impressive. Kinlaw with the sack, but credit Ted Hendricks.
Right, that center looked to Hendricks, and it doesn't take too much a break in concentration, and Reggie Kinlaw is going to be by you.
Guy Morris was the man who picked up Hendricks and saw Kinlaw just burst in. Rudiger will punt it away now for the Eagles. Again, the Raiders showing a 10-man front. Ira Matthews is the lone deep back, and now they drop off and will play return. And Rudiger gets a pretty good kick, a little bit wobbly, and Matthews will handle this one at about the 37. Takes one step, gets by the first man to the 40, and he is in a whole heap of trouble. Goes down at about the 45-yard line. That's where the Raiders will put it in play. Ray Phillips makes the tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Raiders will put it in play at the 45 as we look once more at Ira Matthews. Matthews got the first step, but then was wrapped up very quickly, and so it is at the 45-yard line. That's where Oakland will have it. We have 8 minutes remaining to be played here in the third quarter. The Oakland Raiders with an impressive performance so far. Finney remains at quarterback. Raymond Chester is the tight end. A couple of changes on the offensive line, too. Tell you about them in a minute as Whittington tries the right side stutter step, and he has no place to go. Wrapped up at about the 44-yard line, loss of a yard. Raiders playing with Bruce Davis and Lindsey Mason on the left side now, replacing Gene Upshaw and Art Shell. Dalby is still the center. Mickey Marvin and Henry Lawrence remain on the right side with Raymond Chester, the tight end.
Oh, hell, we'd have had it all right. I think the tight end came open. They just went 30 defense in.
Dick Vermeil once more on the Eagles sideline talking about what didn't happen. What did happen was that his quarterback was sacked, and even though he had the tight end open, the ball was never going to get there, folks. 2nd and 11 at the 44 now. Pastorini, the quarterback. Halfway through the third period. Raiders lead the ball game 10-3. Pastorini will throw. Has time this time over the middle, clearing out Derek Jensen to the 45 to about the 43-yard line. First down, Raiders. Frank Lemaster and Bill Berge make the tackle, but that time Pastorini setting up that play very well, waiting for everything to clear out. Once it did, he hit his man, Derek Jensen.
Again, the key, he's got time to throw. Van Eegen Jensen just looks to be sure the dog isn't coming, then checks straight down the field, turns at a certain depth, looks for the football.
Another substitution on the offensive line for the Raiders now as Henry Killer Lawrence comes off, replaced by John Vella. So the Raiders now down 2 deep at every position except right guard and center. Handoff this time goes to Derek Jensen. He gets to about the 41-yard line, gain of about 3 yards on the play. This is where the Raiders have gotten into trouble in this preseason, is that once they have gotten past the first line people, they have not been very successful with the second line people. So once more, Tom Flores looking at a number of different folks. Willie Brown talks with Mike Davis on the bench. Davis, as we mentioned, has been absolutely sensational tonight. Martini comes to the near side, and Bradshaw to the far side on a passing situation. 2nd and 8. Ball at the 42-yard line. Pastorini this time keeps the ball on his hip. Play action. Goes over the middle this time to Martini. Can't hang on. It's picked off this time by Edwards. Edwards comes back to about the 40-yard line, 30-yard line to the 35. Spins by one man. Spins by another man. Can't spin by the third. Down at the 38 in the arms of Derek Jensen.
You know, those kind go down in the stats as interceptions, but that's a completion.
Brown right.
Bounced out of Rich Martini's hand. You'll see it here. I think the officials missed a clip or two. Play action pass. Good job by Whittington picking up the dog. Martini's got to have his hands up quicker.
Ball was thrown high and behind him, though.
But he's got to catch that. I mean, heck, this is a National Football League, not Cal Davis, and he's got to come down with those.
As it was Edwards who came down with it, and the Eagles have it now. 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. Running backs, Perry Harrington and Billy Cantfield split behind Jaworski. This is Harrington, tries the left side of the 40, has a little room, 45 midfield to about the 46-yard line of the Raiders. Gain of about 14 yards, penalty flag goes down, and that is where you get in trouble. That could be a face mask. Personal foul is what the call is, and that's going to be 15 more big ones against the Raiders. Joe Pisarcik is in the ball game now for the Eagles at quarterback. Pisarcik, former member of the New York Giants. He was loved and then hated in New York, but that is not a difficult thing to do.
It's good block pinning Rod Martin on the inside. Then as Rod spun out to chase the play, the guy held him.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 36. First down.
Well, Mike Davis a little bit more exuberant than he should have been. Cost the Raiders 15 big ones, and Eagles now in business at the Raider 32-yard line just like that. Just when the Raiders are moving the football, things turn around. The intercepted pass and a big play by Perry Harrington, and 15 more on top of that one. So 29 yards altogether for the Eagles. Pisarcik will pass this time. Throws over the middle. Making the grab is Scott Fritzke at about the 16-yard line.
It was an excellent throw, and Pisarcik did a good job of standing in. You'll see a dog by Jeff Barnes coming, but Pisarcik just ignores it, steps back up, finds his man, and throws. Good job. Again, the drop of Ted Hendricks, you can tell he has not played inside very often, and it's a new experience for him as to what zone he's getting to.
Smith goes to the far side, Fritzke to the near side, Canfield and Harrington, the running backs behind Joe Pisarcik. Handoff this time goes to Canfield, gets about 3 to about the 11-yard line, maybe the 12-yard line. Dave Pear now in at middle guard for the Raiders, makes the stop. Also a new tight end in the ball game for the Eagles. He is Lewis Gilbert, number 86.
Yeah, he can come over.
Mike Davis is the injured Raider. Looks like either got kicked or hit. He's got a Charlie horse.
All right.
So Davis, who, as we mentioned on several occasions in the midst of a very fine game, comes off with little help from George Anderson, the Raider trainer. It's like the left leg, I believe, maybe the right leg. One of the two, I know that for a fact. So the Raiders, who are not real deep at either strong safety or free safety, now down, in fact, only to Otis McKinney, who was in there at strong safety. 2nd and 7 situation for the Raiders, or rather for the Eagles now. Pisarcik will throw again, has time this time, comes back over the middle to the tight end Gilbert, makes the grab at about the 6-yard line.
Yeah. Short yardage.
Dick Vermeil alive on the sidelines.
First down. First down and a 5. All right, Raider people.
See, Vermeil would have sent the extra tight end in if it was a short yardage situation, so I wanted to find out, was it a first down or were we going to come up 3rd and short yardage?
Not only do the Eagles have a new quarterback in Joe Pisarcik, they also have a new center, 61 Mark Slater. You look at Mike Davis on the sideline testing the paw. First down and goal at the 5-yard line. Hand off to Canfield. Not much doing in the middle there, but Canfield piles it forward to about the 2-yard line. Just depends on where he is in the midst of all that. Maybe the 3-yard line. Call it a gain of 2 yards. Going to be 2nd and goal. Jeff Barnes makes the tackle for the Raiders. Kinlaw comes on now for Oakland. He will replace Dave Browning, Hendricks. Gives the Raiders a little bit more mobility. 2 tight ends in the ball game now for the Eagles as they are in a short yardage situation. 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. Pisarcik is the quarterback. Canfield and Harrington the running backs. 2 tight ends in the game. In motion this time comes Fritzke, and Pisarcik will throw. Does so to the deep man. That is Gilbert, and it is no good.
Yeah. Which hash am I on?
Matt Millen was the man defending.
That last
Brown-Wright twins.
That last remark you heard was not from the booth. That was from the sideline, Coach Vermeil. Don't blame that one on us, Federal Communications Commission. One of the dangers of wiring up people live.
It is, in fact. Jeff Winans comes on defensively for the Raiders now. His first appearance of the night, as coming off, limping just slightly, is Dave Pear. Pear has been bothered with an injury. And this time in the slot now comes Gilbert inside of Charlie Smith. The Raiders hustling around here trying to get a man off before the play, and they did. And all alone, as all kinds of confusion, Canfield takes it into the end zone. I'm not real sure what was happening. Burgess Owens ran off the field, got off the field.
Ended up with 10 guys out there, and there's no excuse for that.
Well, again, Mike Davis goes down. There are substitutions playing. It is the preseason. There are no excuses. The bottom line is the Raiders are ahead now by a single point with the extra point try coming to tie it.
You know, you get into these different oddball combinations and you get strange substitutions, but you have to control those. You just, there's no excuse.
So Billy Canfield is the man who scores the touchdown, and we now just a kick away from a 10-10 ball game. Tony Franklin with a high snap, gets it up, it's blocked. Blocked that time by Matuzak or Hendricks, one of the two. It was either Matuzak or Hendricks, and now let's see, we got a penalty flag down, and the Eagles are applauding, so apparently it's going to go against the Raiders. Kerry Parker shows his unhappiness. The Raiders were offside, and Tony Franklin will have another shot at it. There was a high snap from center that time. Franklin just never got any lift on the ball. Raider fans booing. Rod Martin exhorting them to do just that.
Defense was offside.
Rod Martin yelling at the sideline. Steve Ortmeyer, the special teams coach on this Raider football team. Has been a little bit of confusion, and it's cost the Raiders. 10-9 ball game. Franklin on to try the point. Place down, kicked, up, and good. So we have a 10-10 ball game with 2 minutes and 50 seconds remaining to be played here in the third quarter. And the Eagles got some help that time. They did have the good 15-yard gain by Perry Harrington, but then an unnecessary roughness penalty added another 15 onto that one. That put the Eagles really in business. And the touchdown play is just something that you just have to write off to one of those things, I guess.
Well, you write it off, but
both offensively and defensively tonight. Franklin kicks it off. He'll be kicking to Brunson and Matthews. This will be Matthews at about the 13, to the 15, to the 20, a little room to the 25, stutter step to the 30-yard line. And that's where the Raiders will put it in play. Ira Matthews did everything he could with that run back. There was a lot of traffic there. Louis Giamona was the man who made the tackle, along with Al Chesley for the Eagles. So a return of about 18 yards as you look at a lone Philadelphia Eagle rooter.
Hey, Jerry, come here.
Eagles.
Martini and Bradshaw, the wide receivers. Now Whittington lines up in the slot, leaving Derek Jensen as a lone setback behind Dan Pastorini. He remains at quarterback. Play action this time. Pastorini will throw an out pattern for Martini, and Martini makes a tough catch. The ball once again was thrown high and behind him, and you said last time he should make those catches, and he did.
Yeah, but the ball has to be thrown. You'll see in the replay, the ball has to be thrown high because of the position of the defensive man. You'll see here, if he doesn't throw that thing that way, the defensive man's going to drive him out of bounds, going to put a kind of pop on him. And if he put the ball to the sideline a little more, he would have carried him out of bounds. So he had to kind of freeze his feet and lift him up.
10-yard gain and a first down for the Raiders. Martini on the receiving end of the Dan Pastorini pass. Ball at the 40-yard line. Handoff this time to Derek Jensen. And Jensen is wrapped up, a fumble in there. And the Eagles say they have it. I don't know. Let's see. Eagles signaling that they have it, and they do. So at the 43-yard line, Derek Jensen coughs the football up. I think you saw
end zone. See if we can spot the fumble. He's got it there solidly. Gets hit, and there it came out. Dropped out. The exchange looked pretty good, and then Turk lost the ball when he was got into traffic.
fourth turnover of the evening, I should say. Started out as the afternoon. It is now the evening. Fourth turnover for the Raiders. The Eagles have 3. They also have the football at the 43. Pisarcik will throw on first down. Swing pass out here for Harrington as at the 45 to the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Hit by Otis McKinney and Matt Millen.
We'll see this one again from the sideline, and the swing will be coming right toward us. The back looks, checks for the dog. When there isn't any, he goes out in the pattern. Here comes the pursuit. McKinney, Millen.
Gain of 4 yards on the play for the Eagles. It's 2nd and 6. Ball at the 39-yard line. You look at the Eagles bench. Woody Peoples, number 69. Out of the ball game right now. He is the starting guard for this Eagles team. Pitch back to Canfield, a little bit behind him, but Canfield has room. 40-35 to about the 32-yard line. Poor Burgess Owens drags him down, and that's going to be, I believe, enough for the first down. It is a first down for the Eagles at the 32. Pitch was a little bit behind Canfield, but he got it. He got that good, quick first step. Eagles do manage to make these blocks here. Watch 72. That is Wade Key. He seals off against Ted Hendricks, and that gave Canfield a chance to get by, pick up some good yardage, enough for the first down. Burgess Owens finally managing to drag him down. This time a little counterplay, a fake counterplay, and a pass out here that is almost intercepted, but nobody manages to hang on to that. Gilbert was the man for whom it was intended. It was number 29, Otis McKinney, who had his hands on it, and he had the better chance of catching it.
Yeah, when a quarterback comes out on those rolls, he's hopeful of being able to find somebody open early, because as he works his way closer and closer to the sideline, the receivers get close to the sideline, the amount of territory he can throw into gets so narrow, it gets very, very clogged up with defensive people.
On the sidelines, Jim Plunkett, who will soon be a part of this football game, warms up. Plunkett has not had many opportunities to work with the Raiders' first-string offensive line, and he will likely not get that chance tonight either. Pisarcik, the quarterback here on 2nd and 10. Straight back to pass. Throws, has a man. It's Canfield at the 15 to the 10 to about the 7-yard line. Pisarcik to Canfield. Burgess Owens makes the tackle. Gain of 25 yards on the play, and a well-executed play that time by the Eagles. So the third quarter has been predominantly Philadelphia Eagles, but we have to note the Raiders once more are playing a lot of bodies.
Here comes the receiver out of the backfield. Got downfield deep on one of the linebackers. Good play, good throw. It was good design, good execution. You try and avoid those situations as much as you can of getting a backing up linebacker against a halfback running forward with speed.
So it's first down at the 7-yard line. Once more, Billy Canfield to the 10, to the 5, to about the 2-yard line. Take another look at Billy Canfield, who starts outside and just kind of strings it out and gains yards until Burgess Owens can make the stop.
What I really wanted will probably score. Yeah.
You heard Dick Vermeil on the sidelines once more. This is a play action, this time straight ahead, and a fumble, I believe. No fumble. Matt Millen again, the man who made the tackle that time. Looked like the football popped loose. Perry Harrington was the ball carrier. Dick Vermeil on the sidelines. Not real pleased with that play. And we have come to the end of the third quarter. Goal line stand in the first half, culminating with an intercepted pass. Pisarcik is at quarterback. The running backs, Canfield and Harrington. That is Canfield for the touchdown. Beg your pardon, it was Perry Harrington for the touchdown, straight ahead across the left side. No deception, a simple touchdown.
See this one again, they just blew us back. Did a good job getting underneath and cutting on Kinlaw. Bent Matt Millen back, and he just came in there the old-fashioned way, head down, cover the football, and just barrel in.
On to try the point is Tony Franklin now. The Eagles take the lead for the first time tonight, 16-10. And Franklin's try for the 17th point is up and no good. He missed it off to the left. So that gives the Raiders a little bit of bright spot.
You know, the Raiders blocked one earlier, which was called back on a offsides penalty. And the kicker has to be thinking about that. You can see here it's on his mind. May have gotten in the way, but the Eagles now lead 16-10.
Kicking to Brunson and Matthews for the Raiders. Brunson will be on the bottom of your screen. Matthews on the top. Franklin comes forward. High end-over-end kick. That Brunson will field at the 5, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25. Fumble. And who's got it? The Raiders say they do. As the Raiders cough it up for the third time tonight, there's an Eagle down on the field. Still no signal on who has it. Eagle standing around
Here comes
rather.
Brunson back with the ball. We might be able to see here as he kind of leaps up. The ball swung up. It really was a knockdown. He swung up kind of using his arm as balance when he made the cut. Lost the grip on the football.
Injured player for the Eagles is Ray Sidmore. Mike Davis, incidentally, leaving the field with an ice bag on his ankle now, heading for the Raider locker room. Doing so under his own power. Eagles drive, 7 plays, 57 yards. Just took them 2 minutes and 31 seconds. Man still down on the field. Now Sidmore gets to his feet.
One of the reasons that they're...
So just underway in the final period here. Jim Plunkett is the quarterback for the Raiders. He is 75 yards away from giving the Raiders the lead back in this game. Playing behind a second line. Pass is good this time to, I believe it was Chester, to Derek Ramsey, the tight end. Ramsey, number 84. As we mentioned, the Raiders have 4 tight ends who can play this game of football. Al Chesley makes the tackle. Take another look.
Sideline replay. It's straight drop back. Good job by Lindsey Mason. And Plunkett going underneath.
Lindsey Mason coming off knee surgery and compounding that problem with having to learn a new position. He was a tackle. He was playing guard this season. Raiders sidelines. We're just about set for the play here. 2nd and 5. The ball at the 30-yard line. Handoff this time goes to Kenny Lewis. Lewis with a little bit of room is close to the first down at the 35. Kenny Lewis, the rookie, out of Virginia Tech. Al Chesley once more makes the tackle for the Eagles. Eagles continuing to go essentially with first-line players. Robinson and Berge still in at the linebacker positions. Reggie Wilkes, who was a part-time starter last year, in at one linebacker spot. And Al Chesley, second-year man from Pitt, at the other. John Shara is playing for Randy Logan in a strong safety spot, but they don't drop off a whole lot with Shara.
Raiders will be rooting for the Eagles next week. They open up in Philadelphia against the Denver Broncos, an AFC Western Division opponent.
Rich Martini in the slot now inside of Ira Matthews. Jim Plunkett is the quarterback as the Raiders did get the first down. Ball to 35, fumbling the snap from center that time, and that is one of those things that is to be expected. Gene Upshaw had not played center before last week, going way back to his college days, and I think even then it was very sporadic. I say unfortunately not at all casting aspersions on Dan Pasqualini, who is a fine quarterback in his own right. Plunkett has had 2 good preseasons. Straight back to pass under big pressure now. Steps up. Now he has time. Throws on a comeback pattern. Lewis cannot hold on at the 40-yard line. So the rookie that time possibly hearing a few footsteps, and there were some pretty thunderous footsteps, and the Raiders are faced now with a 3rd and 11.
The Eagles bring a linebacker from top side, and that's where the pressure comes from. He wasn't picked up clean. Jim steps up and avoids that. Just keeps his head. Throws a pass where Kenny Lewis ought to come down with it. Many of the college backs like Kenny Lewis who come out of an I formation or wishbone just didn't get a lot of work as receivers in college, and that is the part of their football that comes the slowest in the NFL.
Lewis leaves and Whittington comes on. You get a good close look at Plunkett now, faced with a 3rd and 11, straight back to pass. Has a little time, now under pressure, throws deep out here, deep and short, and this one's picked off by Blackmore. And Blackmore breaks it back to the 39-yard line. That time Plunkett probably threw a ball he shouldn't have.
Well, he hung it up and didn't really step in and let it go. The man looked open, but it was double coverage out there, and he threw into the coverage.
And the crowd, as they will do, yelling, "We want Wilson."
There's 41,000 about here tonight, and they pay their way in, and they can holler just about anything they want. The only ones I sometimes get upset with are the ones you know got in the ball game free and want to raise holy hell. They pay their way in. They paid for the privilege. 16-10, Eagles up late in the fourth.
Puts the Eagles back in business. 4 turnovers for the Raiders in the second half. Pisarcik is still the quarterback. Zachary Dixon into the running back spot with Harrington. Pass this time is good to Fritzke. Fritzke makes the catch and gets it down to the 6-yard line.
Same kind of pattern. Put it back on a linebacker.
It was Zachary Dixon with the catch, not Fritzke.
We might be able to see this one in the replay, but Pisarcik going back, and the back had come through. Matt Millen a step late in chasing him, or Jeff Barnes a step late in chasing him. Took the play fake. That's going to happen to young linebackers, but it's something you just can't have happen too often.
First and goal now at the 8-yard line. Joe Pisarcik has been very impressive tonight. Pisarcik gives this time to Harrington. Penalty flag down. Harrington at the 5 and can't quite get in. Out of bounds at about the 1-yard line. Burgess Owens, the man who makes the tackle, keeps him short of the end zone, but let's see what the flag is.
A yellow tissue on the turf.
Offside is the call against Oakland. So what do you do now? Do you take the play and give yourself the down over at the 3-yard line, or rather take the penalty and give yourself the down over at the 3, or do you take the play, which was good to about the 1?
You have to take the play because it's half the distance on the penalty, so it would only be 4 yards.
Offside defense refused the penalty. It's second down.
Would only take it down the 4-yard line, so you'd be giving up a down but losing 3 yards in short yardage territory.
As it is, the ball at the 1-yard line. This is a second down situation now. Eagles come with 2 tight ends. The running backs are Zachary Dixon and Perry Harrington, 2 rookies.
Hey, watch it. Watch this now. Let's watch this happen.
Vermeil saying to watch it. I don't know watch what. This is Harrington, and that is a touchdown. So the Eagles go out in front now by a 22-10 count, and we'll have another look. Nothing fancy here, Al.
No, they cross-blocked in the line, and I think Matt Millen's mad as he had a shot, but didn't really square it up, keep the guy out of the end zone.
So we have 12 minutes and 21 seconds left for the Oakland Raiders to get back into this thing. Tony Franklin comes on now for the extra point. He will do so out of the hold of John Sherra. Sherra, good all-around athlete, former quarterback at UCLA. Tony Franklin setting all kinds of NCAA kicking records while at Texas A&M in his second year now. Placed, kicked, and this time it's good. Franklin might have hurt his foot a little bit, too. He is limping away.
He kicks barefooted, but he is limping. If we can get the camera on that, he is limping on that one. He didn't hit that one exactly the way he'd like to on the side. I think may have caught that one with a toe or two.
So we have 12 minutes, 21 seconds remaining to be played in this football game, and the Raiders have been turning the ball over, and the Eagles have been capitalizing. They lead it 23-10. Tony Franklin continuing to limp a little bit, and I would think he's not too anxious about kicking this one. He will be doing it. He doesn't get much of a kick either. This is Derek Jensen at the 25 to the 30. And down he goes at the 37-yard line. His foot finished second to the football that time, and now the Raiders faced with a 13-point deficit. The ball at the 38-yard line. First down for Jim Plunkett. Christensen is into the running back spot now. Play action this time. Plunkett will pass. Has a lot of time. This time throws deep on the streak for Christensen, and a little bit too deep. Waiting for him right there was Roynell Young.
The official reached in his pocket and was going to call unnecessary roughness and changed his mind. I think he was right at the first time. Ball was clearly out of bounds. The guy came up and just kind of stuck it to the receiver. See this one again. It's play action. We're trying to do the same thing Philadelphia did. Put a linebacker, force a linebacker to cover it back with speed. Christensen coming out of the backfield. Now right there, guy came over and had no intention other than to punish.
Second down and 10 now at the 38. Raiders faced with having to put the ball up right now. Second and long is a situation you do not like to be in. Matthews to the near side. This is Kenny Lewis. Tries the left side. Has a little bit of room and an ankle tackle and a penalty flag. So let's see what we have here. Lewis turned it into about a 6-yard gain, but let's see what the flag is. It'll be second and about 17 for the Raiders now. Ball at the 28-yard line, rather at the 31-yard line. Scoreboard is incorrect right at the moment. And this time a handoff to Whittington. Whittington tries the right side and gets about 5, but that is nowhere near what he needs to get. Across the 35-yard line, barely across the 35. It'll be marked just at the 35-yard line. Ted Sizemore on the sidelines. Al Chesley has been very active since he got in there at an inside linebacker spot for the Eagles. Makes the tackle.
Doing a good job. Had a fine training camp.
Derek Jensen now running back with Kenny Lewis behind Jim Plunkett. 3rd down, 13 yards to go for the first down. Matthews near side, Martini far side. Obvious passing down. Everybody in the pattern. Swing pass for Jensen. Makes the catch to the 32, 35, 40 to the 45. About to the 46-yard line. Going to be short of the first down. Reggie Wilkes makes the tackle. It is about 2 yards short of the first down, and Dan Pastorini comes on, and he does so in a punting situation. Wally Henry is the deep man for the Eagles. He stands at about the 13-yard line. The Eagles, as do most teams in the NFL these days, at least show a 10-man front, and they will likely back off and play run back. Jumping around now against Pastorini. Now they have 10 down people, and they drop off and play run back. And a high kick this time for Pastorini. Pretty good punt that time. Sends Henry to the 15, to the 20, and the first man down grabs him. And that was Todd Christensen, number 46. Christensen, as we mentioned, a very valuable player on special teams.
Hard average in his career punting.
He's actually punted very well tonight and had the one good kick back in Washington for 41 yards. In the I formation now, Dixon is the tailback, and he gets the call and shows a lot of speed across the 25 to the 30-yard line, close to the 30-yard line. And Zachary Dixon are the running backs. This is Culbreth, and Dixon, the ball carrier, rather. He gets to about the 30-yard line. Should have enough for the first down. You were right. It was an inside running play. Back. It is Culbreth and Dixon, the running backs. Straight back, short drop for Smith. Makes the catch no good. They say he's out of bounds. Back. This time, the lone setback is Culbreth. Dixon, he gets the call and gets wrapped up pretty good by Jeff Barnes that time.
Here's more players to the Philadelphia Eagles than any squad, any college team in the country.
And, of course, it is the local school being located in Philadelphia. Runninger punts it away. Gets a high kick away. Good punt this time. And Matthews going to let it bounce, and it takes an Eagles bounce. And that is a penalty marker, I believe, unless they're just spotting where the ball was.
No, that's a penalty. I think they're going to say that we clipped or held the man coming down to cover.
Plunkett is the quarterback, gives this time to Kenny Lewis, and he gets to about the 8-yard line, no more than that.
Two tight ends like we have in the game, Ramsey and Chester, who still have the capability as well.
Plunkett still the quarterback for the Raiders. This is Todd Christensen this time at the left side, and Christensen gets a couple across the 10 to the 11-yard line. It's going to be a gain of about 4 yards on the play. But it has really not been a bad football game for them. Jim Plunkett is the quarterback. Christensen, the lone setback, with Lewis in the slot. Swings it out here for Ramsey. Makes the catch at about the 18-yard line. And the Raiders will have a first down.
Using size to make it tough for the defensive man to come up in front of him and make a play on the ball.
Raymond Chester leaves now, and the Raiders come back with Ira Matthews, who will be a wide receiver to the near side, with Rich Martini to the far side. Christensen and Kenny Lewis, the running backs behind Jim Plunkett, an entire second unit offensive line. Delay this time for Christensen across the 20 to about the 23-yard line.
Christensen started out as a running back at Brigham Young University, and when he went with the Dallas Cowboys as a number 2 draft choice, they used him in the backfield, but indicated to him they'd like him to try tight end, and that didn't fit in his plan. We brought it.
2nd down and 6, as you saw the numbers on Plunkett. Straight back to pass he goes again. Has a little time. Throws over the middle here. Good grab this time for Kenny Lewis at the 30 to about the 31-yard line. 24 yards on this drive so far. They have merely another 70 to go. Matthews comes to the near side and Martini to the far side. Keep in mind that Plunkett is playing behind a second unit offensive line. Kenny Lewis gets the call again, and there is nothing doing there. That's about 2 yards. Hit for the right side of the Philadelphia defense, led by Jerry Robinson, number 56, second-year man out of UCLA. They said he was too small to play linebacker in the NFL. He has disproven that. Good player, just a great player in college, Jerry Robinson. Plunkett will throw this time on 2nd and 8, and under pressure this time throws deep, and open is Ramsey. Makes the grab at the 30-yard line. Derek Ramsey on the receiving end. Perfectly thrown ball, and an outstanding catch by Derek Ramsey.
That was a good execution at both ends. Protection pattern was run well. This is another one our director, Niels Mello, is going to get another look at for us. Jim stood in there tall, laid it up. He had split the zone, gotten ahead of one, and laid the ball in where the other man could not make a play on it. It was a good throw, good catch.
Derek Ramsey, I don't know if we've said this year, we did on a couple of occasions last year, I know, was a quarterback at Kentucky. It's a pretty tough change to make, to play a down position, playing tight end after having been a quarterback. Very intelligent, good size, has good speed. 40-yard gain on that one. Plunkett to Ramsey. Straight back once more goes Plunkett. Has plenty of time this time, plenty of time. Now he throws a deep corner pattern and is going to throw this one away. Kenny Lewis was the intended receiver.
See here, there's not a lot of push. The guy in the middle is staying close to the line of scrimmage to be sure there's no check-throughs or draws. And so Jim had all the time in the world, but it was zone coverage with 8 people back there.
So all it is a second down and 10 now for the Raiders. Ball at the 28-yard line, just at the tip of the grass of the baseball infield. Plunkett is the quarterback. Back to pass he goes again. 5 people in the pattern. Throws this time for Matthews. Makes the catch over the middle at the 20-yard line. Penalty flag goes down. Roynell Young was the man defending and actually took the ball away from Matthews. The Eagles are saying it's theirs, but the flag is down, and I believe this one is going to go against the Eagles.
I think he's calling him for a club, a shot across the head. Yep.
Exactly right.
We have a rule in the National Football League, again, you can't club them across the head. You can hit them up on the shoulder, and sometimes the guy ducks and it will slide up, but that one was an attempted tackle with the arm on the head.
Unnecessary roughness, number 43. First down.
That coming on the rookie, Roynell Young. He's been an impressive rookie so far tonight, actually.
As we said earlier, he was a first-round draft choice to the Eagles, and the only first-round pick they have ever made of a defensive back coming out of college.
This was a bumper crop so far as defensive backs were concerned this past draft. Plunkett is the quarterback. The ball at the 10. First down and goal. Raiders cannot make a first down. They must take it in from here. Straight back to pass is Plunkett again on first down. Has time. Dances around in there. Throws deep to the corner of the end zone for Martini and a little bit too deep. Well defended that time by Ray Phillips. This time Matthews comes to the near side and Martini to the far side. Jensen and Lewis, the running backs, behind Jim Plunkett. Taking the snap from Gene Upshaw. Straight back to pass, in trouble this time. Rolls away, throws, comebacker for Matthews. Can't hang on. Woods comes on. So they have 5 deep backs in the ball game now. And this time Martini goes in the slot to the far side of the field, and I believe they got him this time. That's going to go against the Eagles, I'm quite sure. Plunkett throws, has a man, and really wrapped as Kenny Lewis made the catch. But coming up underneath him, Jerry Robinson, and batted the football away. But let's see if we don't have an encroachment call against the Philadelphia Eagles.
To pop the ball loose.
So the Raiders now have it with a third down and goal once more following that penalty against the Eagles. 5 yards to go for the touchdown rather than 10. Again, Martini in the slot. Plunkett straight back to throw. Has time. Throws over the middle, and not able to hang on once more is the rookie Kenny Lewis. Down play. The Raiders, without any choice, they have to go for it. There are still 5 deep backs in the ball game for the Eagles. Clock shows 3:21 remaining. Fourth down. 5 yards to go for the touchdown. The Raiders trail by 13 at 23-10. Same offensive set for the Raiders this time. Lewis and Christensen again, the running backs. Plunkett will throw. Everybody in the pattern. To the end zone for Ramsey. Good grab. Touchdown Raiders. Good grab that time by Derek Ramsey. It was not a particularly well-thrown ball, and Ramsey really had to go up, and he came down with it.
Defensive back is screaming that Ramsey pushed off on him, but again, when you got the big receiver with size like Ramsey, if there's going to be a collision, the defensive man's going to bounce backwards and lose that tight coverage he has. I think it had already happened. Good. Again, it's nice to have guys that are 6'4", 6'5". Ramsey was a basketball player as well at the University of Kentucky his first 2 seasons. And when you can make the basketball squad of Kentucky, you know you can go up in the air,
you can play, and you've got to have hands. Too. So Jimmy Breach comes on to try to add the Raiders 17th point. That was a 94-yard drive for the Raiders with little penalty help. They did have the one roughness call. Out of the hole with Chandler. Placed, kick, and good. So the Raiders not out of it yet. 3 minutes and 16 seconds remaining to be played. And they lead it by, or rather trail it by 6 points. And now it's going to be up to the defense once more. credit Jim Plunkett with moving this football team 94 yards and doing so, as he mentioned, with essentially an inexperienced front line. They had Gene Upshaw snapping center, and of course something he hasn't done. Lindsey Mason was there. Bruce Davis was there. A lot of young people. Let's listen to Dick Vermeil now.
Knock you down.
And they are going to go for the onside kick. A little blue pair, and the Raiders are after it. And let's see, did they keep it in? They couldn't quite keep it in. And I don't know. I didn't really see that they had possession. The crowd seems to think they do, but I don't know. I really did not see that the Raiders had possession.
We'll take a look at, again, it's not last touch, it's last possession. Just looped it over the front, something Jimmy's been practicing on. Had a chance to pick it there. It's hard to tell from this angle. Maybe our director's got another one.
The play went on after that, actually. So.
All those people on the sideline in the way now.
Well, there the ball is still in bounds, but what they're saying is I think that the ball went out of bounds with nobody having possession, and so they're going to do it all over again.
We're going to kick it over.
And I think that's a good call.
Right now, the one official's lost. He's on the wrong 40-yard line.
So the Raiders will just do it all over again, and now we'll see what the call is, whether they try to do this again. Actually, it was a pretty good idea. It was a different kind of onside kick in that what Jimmy Breach tried to do was bloop it over the heads of the front line people and kind of get it in there where there was only 2 or 3 Eagles and able to pick the ball up.
Right, see, the Eagles then were what we would call a semi-prevent. They didn't have 9 up there close like they do now. They had the front 5, and then they brought 2 up, and it's a good spot to just plop it over the front because they'd only have 2 guys to cover that area behind the front wall. Now they're in, they've got 10 up front, a front wave of 5 and 5 directly behind them. You see all that empty territory again, but now they would block you if you tried to come down and get into that area.
So Breach comes forward and he tries it again. Just that very thing, only this time a little bit deeper. And now let's see who's got it.
I think the Eagles recovered that one and inbound, so it's going to be their ball at that spot.
Again, it's not a bad idea. In fact, I must tell you, I've often wondered why more teams don't do exactly that kind of thing.
It's harder to do when they've got that many people up front because some of them are going to run back and others are going to block the people that you've got trying to get down and get to the ball.
There is a penalty flag down on the field also, and there's a great discussion going on right now amongst both Raiders and Eagles and officials.
Smartly, the Eagles did not try and pick it up and run. Just cover the football. Possession is more important than position.
10 seconds have ticked off the clock. There was 3:16.
Team blocking below the waist. That's a 15-yard penalty in their ball.
15-yard penalty is going to go against the Eagles, but the Eagles are going to have possession of the football. So essentially, the Raiders do not come away hurting from this situation. It does push the Eagles back. It will move them back to about the 13-yard line, I believe.
One difference between the last 2 minutes and this happening now is that the clock runs now when the ball is kicked. In the last 2 minutes, it doesn't run until it's touched. There's been about 20 seconds run off the clock that would not have happened if we were in the last 2 minutes of the half or the last 2 minutes of the game.
So the ball goes back to the 15-yard line, which is probably as well as the Raiders could have hoped for if Jim Breach Holbrook, and a good tackle that time right at the line of scrimmage by Jeff Barnes. In fact, we'll call it a loss of a yard. Going to be 2nd down 11.
Now the Raiders have got 3 timeouts left. The Eagles have 3 timeouts, which they won't use unless they fall behind. But we really have a 4th timeout. That is, when that clock gets down to 2 minutes and stops, we really have 4 timeouts we have to play with now.
So that is the ally of the Raiders. As you see the clock, 2:39 remaining in the football game. Raiders trail by 6, 23-17. 2nd down and 12 yards to go. They call that last play a loss of 2. Coming to the near side this time is Charlie Smith. And the pitch back this time goes to Dixon. Dixon picks his way, gets across the 15 to about the 18-yard line. Going to be a gain of about 6 yards on the play. Cedric Hardman and Burgess Owens make the tackle for the Raiders. It will bring about a 3rd down and 6.
Raiders will call a timeout on this one to stop the clock, and we'll go into that pitch back. And the back did a good job of cutting back. If he'd stayed outside, that would have been another loser. He cut back, and there was decent support, decent pursuit. The reason you take the timeout here with only 16 seconds left before the 2-minute warning, they would have just stood there and let it run down to 2 minutes. By taking the timeout here, you're going to get one more play in before the 2-minute warning, and they're not going to just be able to run 16 seconds off the clock standing there.
Significantly, and I would swear that this was true. I was sure that I saw the official point to the Eagles as the Eagles calling a timeout, although it's the Raiders timeout.
No, it was signaled in from the sideline.
One with the dog.
You're listening to Dick Vermeil on the Eagles
We ought to
sideline.
go Sweet Bob, huh? Huh?
This is a big play for the Eagles upcoming. It's a 3rd down and 6. The ball is at their own 19-yard line. Should they not make the first down and have to punt it away, the Raiders could wind up with good field position and the clock being their ally at that point. Raiderettes, meanwhile, do their job on the sidelines.
We've got a Raiderette special coming up on Channel 4, September 20th, 4 p.m. The annual special on the Raiderettes takes them from tryouts through rehearsals, interviews, public appearances, game day performances, giving you an opportunity to meet the girls as people, as well as performers here in the stadium.
Big play upcoming, 3rd down and 6. Henry in the slot, inside of Charlie Smith. This is Dixon once more, tries the outside, does not have the first down, stopped short at about the 18-yard line by Otis McKinney. So the Eagles will punt it away and the Raiders will have another chance. And we're coming right up to the 2-minute warning now. Whistles blow, clock stops, and it stops right at the 2-minute warning. So there are 2 minutes of football remaining to be played in this football game. The Oakland Raiders will have another chance at it. It was a gain of 4 for Zachary Dixon, but it's 4th and 2. They'll have to punt it away. They lead the ball game 23-17. This juncture that the Eagles did try a fake punt earlier, although you would have to think that from their own 22-yard line and trying to nurture a 6-point lead, they would not do the same thing again. Nonetheless, I do think it's worthy of note. Ira Matthews, you see here, waiting and anticipating receiving this punt from Runniger. Runniger will hit it at about the 13-yard line. The Raiders once more showing a 10-man front, although you would have to think they would play run back here. Now they drop 2 men off. Long count this time. And now shifting outside. Lots of jumping around going on here. Eagles shifting. 5 seconds showing on the timer, and the Raiders jump offside, and it's going to cost them a first down. That is what the Eagles wanted, and that is exactly what they got.
All right, 43F. And
who was the man who jumped? I believe Derek Jensen is the man I believe who jumped.
No, it was Reggie Kinlaw, I think, 62.
Encroachment on the defense, delayed contact. That's a first down.
Well, that's one that is going to send people home scratching their heads. Most particularly the encroacher.
Yeah.
So the Eagles have 4 more downs in 2 minutes. In the I formation, Dixon is the tailback. And the Raider defense has to do it all over again. This is Dixon, a little bit of room this time, and Dixon gets about 6 yards before he's stopped by Jeff Barnes. On that situation, the Eagles had 1 man outside, brought him back in, put another man outside. That forced the Raiders to make a couple of changes. They went to a very long count and forced the man to jump off and make contact, and with that, the Eagles have 4 more downs. 1:30 remaining now, and the Eagles will take all the time they can. 2nd and 4. Raiders have 2 timeouts remaining to them. Handoff this time goes to Culbreth, and Culbreth is stacked up for a loss of about 2 yards, but the clock continues to wind down. 1:14, 1:13, and the Raiders likely will call a timeout now. And that is what they do. So that really hurt, and very likely will cost the Raiders the football game, or at least an opportunity to come back and won it.
The Raiders would have had possession of the football with 2 timeouts to go, about 1:50. Figure we fair catch and not return it. About 1:50 it takes from snap when the clock starts to time the ball comes down. It's caught about 8 to 9 seconds. So we had 150, 151, would have probably been about our own 40 with 2 timeouts. Of course, we have to go the whole distance. Field goal would not do us any good. Would have been good experience for Plunkett and some of the younger people who are in the ball game now to play in that kind of a situation. But again, you know, when you talked about the Eagles' movement forcing, the Eagles' movement got somebody to break his concentration, but that's his job, to not jump off sides in a situation like that.
Mental mistakes have really cost the Raiders dearly tonight. It cost them a touchdown down deep in their own territory earlier on when Burgess Owens ran off the field thinking there was an extra man on, and there wasn't. It turned out to be a touchdown. And then this play, of course, 2 very pivotal plays. This is Dixon trying for the first down, doesn't make it. So the Raiders are going to get the ball back, but it is only a question of in what condition they will get the ball back. They now have used their last timeout.
Again, if you fair catch, clock stops as soon as you catch the ball because it's change of possession. What the Eagles may do is try to kick away from your safety man so that the ball does bounce and the clock does run a little bit longer.
Well, the Raiders will get the ball, but it is a far less enviable position than they would have had it shortly after the 2-minute warning when an encroachment call on a punting situation gave the Eagles 4 more downs and another minute, essentially.
Monkey? Max took part of there, beat him on the back foot. We got to be real, aren't
Roniger comes over to the sidelines to have a final word with the Eagles coaching staff, and you look at the Raiders bench. That is Steve Ortmeyer barking something out to Derek Jensen. Tom Flores walks along the sidelines, says something to Sam Bogosian. Roniger comes on to punt again. And once again, they're moving people in and out, trying to draw the Raiders offside once more. It worked once. Long count, 6 seconds left to get the playoff, and they do. And a high spiraling kick, fair catch called by Ira Matthews at the 34-yard line. So the Raiders are 66 yards away. They have no timeouts remaining, and they have 58 seconds on the clock. So this will be a real test. Not an easy test, just a test. Jim Plunkett will be the quarterback. Looks like Arthur Whittington in at the running back spot.
Remember now, with no timeouts left, unlike college ball, the clock does not stop when you get a first down. It's hard to throw down the inside. You've got to work to the sideline or work deep.
It is Larry Brunson, 3 wide receivers in the ball game now with Derek Jensen, the lone setback. Martini slotted inside of Brunson. Matthews to the other side. Plunkett will throw. Throws deep this time for Martini, and Martini makes the catch, gets up and runs, and what do we got? The clock is still rolling here, and the Raiders are going to have to hustle it up. And the Raiders, though, now are in a position where they can go end zone. Great grab by Rich Martini. They come to the line of scrimmage, 35 seconds remaining. Plunkett calls the play at the line of scrimmage. 30 seconds left now. Plunkett calls it to the other side. They've got to get getting here. 27 seconds left. Quick count. Now Plunkett will likely throw the ball away if he can't find a man. He does. Throws the ball away. Intended. That was very close to interference. Intended for Arthur Whittington. Or Larry Brunson. Larry Brunson, the intended receiver. 20 seconds left. The clock is stopped. Ball's at the 29-yard line. And we have a penalty.
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer that time. And that's a big break for the Raiders. A big break for the Raiders.
We'll see that big catch by Rich Martini. Here again, Plunkett looking deep. You got an outsider deep, and he's going deep. Good grab by Rich. Martini was an outfielder, good enough baseball player to be drafted a number of times by professional teams, and that one looked like an over-the-head catch going deep in center field.
Just an outstanding catch.
68. First down.
The guilty party was Dennis Harrison on that roughing the passer call. Tom Flores still showing very little emotion on the Raiders sidelines. Raiders pulled one out in the last 6 seconds here in their only other home game of the season. And I hope this sets a precedent here. 20 seconds remaining to be played. Final period. Arthur Whittington in the backfield now, along with Derek Jensen. To the far side, in the slot this time, is Martini. He is slotted inside of Matthews. Plunkett with time. Throws for the end zone. Open that time was Martini, or rather Chester, and he could not make the grab. The ball was thrown too high.
Take a look at that one from the end zone. You see Chester breaking over the middle. He had a step. The ball was just a little tall. That one gets drilled into numbers. We've got to win.
Definitely was open on the play. Second down, that is immaterial. 15 seconds left to play. Remember, the Raiders, should they get this touchdown in, would still need the extra point. Matthews to the near side with Martini slotted inside of him. The lone setback this time is Whittington. Christensen is also in the ballgame. Plunkett with time. Throws over the middle for Christensen. Can't hang on. Too high again. Christensen was open. 5 more seconds. There's 10 seconds remaining. Post pattern that time to Christensen. Plunkett very unhappy with himself.
Another end zone look. He's getting time. Solid protection up front. Tight end breaking down the middle. Had a step. That's a tough throw because if you lay it up, he runs out the end zone. That's really a delicate touch pass that was a little long.
2 plays remaining to the Raiders. 10 seconds showing. They've got to go to the end zone. 5 deep backs as the Eagles come in the nickel defense. They've been that way this whole drive. Crowd is alive. Now Christensen lines up in the backfield. Martini again is slotted inside of Ira Matthews. Whittington and Christensen the running back. Straight back to passes Plunkett. Everybody in the pattern. A lot of time. Goes for the end zone again. Open is Ramsey. Touchdown Raiders. Derek Ramsey with 4 seconds remaining to be played. They came with the same pattern 3 times.
Well, actually, the middle pattern was really to a back coming down the middle. This is the first pattern again. The tight end starting outside and then breaking over the middle. A post pattern. Good job up front. Plenty of time. Find a man. There he is. Touchdown Raiders. Holy Toledo, as they say.
Perfect opening. Perfect opening. Plunkett had a lot of time to throw that time. In fact, this whole series, Plunkett had a lot of time to throw. Got to credit Rich Martini with a big catch. Credit Derek Ramsey with 2 big catches in this game. Made the good touchdown grab for the last touchdown. 2 touchdowns on the night for Derek Ramsey. Now they need the point, remember. Jimmy Breach is on. There are 4 seconds left to be played. He'll hit it out of the hole to Chandler. Everybody on the front line for the Eagles. 4 seconds remaining. Tie game at 23. Ball is snapped. It's placed. It's kicked. It's good. And the Raiders, barring the unforeseeable, are going to win another throat clutcher here at the Oakland Coliseum. They won the last game they played here at home with exactly 6 seconds to play. They were 2 seconds better tonight.
I'll tell you, there are a lot of people who stayed away from the ball game, and they may have some reason, but they're missing a lot of fun. And when they follow the lead of a couple of people in the press who are trying to, this is still great football as it has been for 20 years, and the Raider football is something special. You ought to share it.
Well, the Raiders did it this time with no timeouts remaining and 64 yards away. Rich Martini made the big catch. Made a great catch.
That was a great catch. Very delicate throw. We'll take another look at the final play. Plunkett's got the time. Looks out to the outside. Finds Ramsey coming over the middle. Drills it straight out in front. We just can reach out, bring it in. Easy score.
There's the numbers on Derek Ramsey. 5 receptions, 2 touchdowns, 70-plus yards. 4 seconds remain in the football game. It is not completely over yet.
Remember, the clock does not start now. We're in the last 2 minutes until the ball is touched by someone, not just when it's kicked.
Now, Jim Breach will likely just try to split the middle with this one and dribble it down.
You want to get enough depth, though, that they don't get a timeout in the field goal attempt.
Breach comes forward, and he